Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Player's Take, episode 109. I'm your host, Justin and Montrell, joined by my co-host. Sad to see Kenny Galladay go, Montrell Rice. How are you doing, man?
I'm all right. How you doing?
You know, Montrell is famously a Lions fan, even though he doesn't care about football even remotely, to be honest.
I do care about football. I just care about my team, and since they're trash, I hate football.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. They are trash, dude. They're gonna be bad this year. I'm telling you, man.
I know.
But yeah, Kenny Galladay still hanging out there in the free agent market, and I am hanging on his landing spot because he's one of my primary fantasy dynasty assets, and I do not want him to go to the Giants, and that is the team he is most linked to, and it is making me very upset because I want him to go to an offense where he will thrive, and the Giants suck dick. So,
off topic, does my audio sound okay?
Yeah, you sound fine.
Okay, because I'm not using the voice meter. I just realized that. So,
okay. Well, yeah, you sound fine. You sound pretty clear. Right, cool. I don't know how I sound, but
no, you sound fine.
Montrell, forgetting the voice meter. How could you? You're ruining everything. God,
I know, right?
Just to open the kimono for people as well. Montrell and I have made the executive decision to change our recording date to Thursday. So basically, we're going to record the show. He's immediately going to give me the audio. I'm going to edit it and post it the same night. And we have decided to do this because we have been getting fucked week after week after week lately, where big news keeps coming out on Wednesday and Thursday after we record. And you know what? We're done. We're tired of it. We're going to talk about it. And this week's big news, we're not going to get to it yet, but Square Enix had a little live stream, just a preview for you guys. So, that's coming in the news, and we would have missed that normally. So we got you guys. Okay. So for those of you who haven't listened before, this is our weekly show where we talk about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to video games. We post at 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and your favorite podcast app of choice. And please send us your questions on any topic you want to talk about or something we haven't talked about that you'd like to ask us about, games we like that we don't normally talk about, anything along those lines. Send it to the playerstake01@gmail.com or at the Players Take on Twitter, and we will absolutely answer it on the show. Okay, Montrell, let's get down to business. Let's start like we always do with what we have been playing. Do you want to go first, sir?
Yeah, I've been playing League of Legends. I was playing Neo 2 heavy, but the last couple of days have been really stressful.
Yeah, you hit a wall, huh?
Yeah, it's been really stressful, just from work and stuff, and I didn't feel like coming on playing Neo.
Yeah, I feel you.
So
I got to get back into co-op with you. Maybe that's your problem. We got to co-op it.
No, it's just I haven't been focused. I can get past Region 4. The missions I just been trying to blow through them because I'm like I want to hurry up and get to late game, but obviously you can't do that with Neo 2.
Yeah,
like, you still have to be patient even though it's a fast-paced game.
Right.
So
right.
I just decided to put it down just for like a couple of days, and I played something that I know I can just blaze through. So that's why I'm playing like Resident Evil 4 right now, and I really had the urge for the last couple of weeks actually to play through the Metal Gear series. So I'm gonna be doing that, and I've also been watching this anime that I really fucking love. I know it's not an anime podcast or whatever, but I really fucking love this anime. It's called Jujutsu Kaisen, or Jujutsu Kaisen rather, and it is an interesting anime. It reminds me of like has a little bit of Naruto, has a little bit of Yu Yu Hakusho, a little bit of Hunter x Hunter in it.
How new is this?
You said what? It just came out this year.
So it's like contemporary. Okay.
Yeah, it just came out this year. So it's about 20 episodes deep in right now. 15 of the episodes right now are dubbed, and then 5 episodes after that are subbed. The dub is actually really good. So I've been watching all the way to the dub, and then I'm gonna watch the sub because I actually like the series. I think it's just a really cool anime to watch. It's not super complicated or anything like that. But one thing I have an issue with, I'm not going to go into detail about Neo 2 or fucking Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 was really weird to play because it doesn't have the dual. It still runs off that legacy third
Yeah, no,
person
it's not.
shooter.
It's not a you don't control. You don't use both analog sticks for
Yeah,
control,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
so it
it's
still run off
it
that
uses tank controls. What is commonly referred to as tank controls.
yeah. Even though it's third person over the shoulder, it's
Yeah, did
still
you forget
using.
that, man?
I did forget
I
that,
think a
and
lot of people do because I think a lot of people look back glowingly at Resident Evil 4, and I bet if you played it, it would not feel the way you think it does.
well, I have a friend and she like plays Resident Evil all the fucking time. So I watched her play through it, and she was just like blasting through it after playing Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3 remake, which has the dual control, which has updated controls.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm coming back to it, and I'm like, I'm fucking struggling and shit. So, but I still love the game, and everything of that nature. So my biggest thing right now is not Resident Evil 4's controls. It's fucking Metal Gear Solid.
Mm-hmm.
And on the dock, I have Metal Gear Solid and I have Xbox put in parentheses. There's a reason I have it fucking put in the Xbox.
Can't play
Because
it on
I can.
PlayStation.
Yeah, I can't play it on PlayStation. The only way I can play through the Metal Gear series on PlayStation is through PlayStation Now,
Yep.
and that fucking sucks.
You want to know why that is? Because the Metal Gear collection, the Metal Gear Solid collection,
It's
was
on a
released on
PS3.
PS3.
Yes.
So, and it was never re-released on PlayStation 4, and there is no form of classics or anything like that on PlayStation 4, really, unless a company did it of their own volition. Sony never pushed for it. So, yeah, a franchise that is historically extremely
PlayStation.
Sony focused, PlayStation
Exactly.
focused, cannot be played on modern PlayStation devices outside of a shitty streaming service that
Yeah.
is not worth the time.
Exactly. So yeah, you basically just explained my frustration. So
Mhm.
the Xbox also had the HD collection, but the
Yep.
thing about Xbox is I can play it on my Xbox One because you know why? All the games are backwards compatible.
All the way
So
back. Yep.
all the way back. So I was actually playing this on my Xbox, and whenever I get a Series X later on this year, I can actually play Metal Gear Solid Collection on my Series X. I can't do that with my PS5. So
Yep.
that is a huge flaw for me. For
Mhm.
people like me who do like to go through backlogs or just play older games, like on the PS5, we can't do that. Like it is backwards compatible with the PS4. And I'm not saying that they should go all the way to PS2, but it would be fucking nice. Like that would be cool if we could go all the way, even back to fucking PS1, because PlayStation has a lot of classics that a lot of people want to play, and a lot of people aren't going to go out and buy an Xbox to play these classics, and they're just
Mhm.
stuck in like limbo unless I get fucking PlayStation Now, which I don't want. I don't want because, like you said, it's a shitty streaming service.
Mhm.
So I was really super disappointed about that because I was like, oh, I could just buy the collection. I was under the impression that the collection came on the PS4, because I played it on my Xbox. But yeah, you're right. It was actually
Mhm.
released on the 360 and PS3. So that actually sucks. It's really weird to play Metal Gear on Xbox.
Yeah.
Even though I did it before, it's still weird. The only Metal Gear game I didn't play on a PlayStation console was a Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. That's because I played on the GameCube.
Mhm.
And for some reason, they had like some kind of exclusive content for GameCube as well. So that was the only game that doesn't feel weird when I play it. But like I
Mhm.
play Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 1. Oh, and then another thing is Metal Gear Solid 4 is stuck on PlayStation. That's the exclusive.
Mhm.
And
But it's
that
only on
game,
PlayStation 3.
yeah, and you can't play it.
You can't play it on anything else.
No,
Dude.
I would have to
Yeah.
plug in my old PlayStation 4. No,
Yeah.
PlayStation 3. I'm sorry, to play Metal Gear 4.
And it would look like complete ass and would run like shit, and the load times would be absolutely unforgivable. Trust me, guys. PlayStation 3, playing it now. I don't know how we all went through that generation without thinking much about it because, man, it's fucking rough, dude. The PS3 is a nightmare. That thing is a piece of shit now at this point. I mean, it was a piece of shit when it came out. And you know, I'm actually a defender for the PlayStation 3. I think it has a really good library of games, but
It does.
unfortunately, the unfortunate reality though, it does have a good library of games. A lot of those games are stranded there though, and that is not a good place to play video games at this point in 2021. And I was actually looking out of curiosity. Final Fantasy Tactics is not playable on modern consoles. The only place you can play it right now, and this is on Square as well as Sony, but the only place you can play this game right now is that's like a contemporary device platform is phones, iOS or Android. The oldest, the newest device you can play it on is the PlayStation Vita.
What?
Yeah, dude. They haven't released Final Fantasy fucking Tactics on a
Can't,
modern PlayStation console, PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5. I don't know what kind of crack they're on, because this is an obvious, just automatic moneymaker. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying it's going to make billions of fucking dollars for them, but god damn, man, this is a popular franchise that literally any strategy gamer would buy on PlayStation 4 to play it and get trophies, you know? Like, it's silly that it's not available, you know?
is it like when you say on mobile, do you gotta like download the ROMs, or is it actually available to download
No, I
from the
have it. You
store?
can buy it on the store. No, I
Okay,
own it.
okay,
It's I think it's $10
okay,
on the store. It's not a bad price, but
okay.
I actually haven't played it, so I don't know how well it translates. I will say though, Tactics RPGs actually probably would translate pretty well to a phone.
Yeah, I was about to say that game would be
Yeah,
really good on mobile, so I
yeah.
can see why they would put it on mobile.
It
But
just depends on how responsive it is to touch, you know, because that
yeah,
is an awkward thing with older applications. You know
yep.
how well they respond to touch inputs. So I don't know. I kind of want to play it actually now that I'm talking
Are
about it, and just give my thoughts on it. But
yeah, you should do that. Actually, you should really do that. Like within the
yeah.
coming week. It's like no, do it
Jesus,
just fucking
Jesus, Montreal. God, he's giving me
I was
homework.
gonna ask, are some
Yeah.
PlayStation 3 games compatible with PlayStation 4 or
No,
no?
nope, none at all. Zero,
Fuck,
zilch, nada. There
that's
was
such a
zero backwards compatibility with that generation, and it was the same with Xbox at the beginning as well. Xbox
yeah, I
One.
remember that. Yeah,
Yeah, Microsoft figured it out though. Sony never bothered. So the cutoff between PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 is super awkward because there's a shitload of games just stranded over there that are actually excellent video games. You know, that it's really up to the company who made them to bring them forward. Like something like stuff like Last Remnant. What's it called? Oh my god, I can't remember the name of it. Something of Fate. I can't remember it. Something of Fate on PlayStation 3.
Resonance of Fate.
Resonance of Fate. That's the one. Yeah, that one was also brought forward, but before they did that, it wasn't playable on anything other than PS3. So, yeah. So it's kind of an unfortunate reality. This is my point. We've talked about this a lot. Is as gaming ages, these issues are going to get worse and worse and worse if these companies don't take it upon themselves to do something about it. Because, you know, dude, I'm thinking in 20 years from now, when we're like 3 or 4 generations ahead from now, think about that, man. Like, how are you going to play some of these games unless they go out of their way to make a collection for them? And there's so many games out there. There's thousands of games on PlayStation 4 that are just going to get totally forgotten, you know, like not even touched. You know, indie games, tons of indie games that the companies go out of business, and the games are still available, but, you know, like the company's gone. So they're not going to push it forward if they aren't around, you know? So it's like, it's an issue the industry kind of needs to deal with, but like no one really seems to care. You know, Xbox is the one doing it best.
Well, no one talks about it. I
Yeah.
mean, not to get like a tirade about it, but like,
Yeah.
every time you do bring up like older games, and it's not even the younger people, it's the older people like, oh, well, fuck that shit. Like a lot of the older personalities, like big names and everything that have voices in fucking video games. They're like, oh, I don't want to play that old shit. Like they literally say that. And it's like,
yeah,
wow, bro. Like even like younger kids, like I want to go back and experience the first Pokemon because I never experienced that before. You know what I'm saying? They huge Pokemon fans and they wouldn't go back and experience it. And it's like, oh, this is like the greatest example. I remember when Pokemon Yellow was released on the Wii U. And you remember like they had their own social network. I forgot what the fuck it was called.
Oh,
was it
wait,
the
wait. That was on Virtual Console, right?
Yeah.
That was actually on 3DS, I think.
That was on 3DS?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, it was.
And you remember their social network they had? Like I forgot. Was it Miiverse?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So it was a Miiverse, and I want to say they didn't update Gust to wind or to flying type. I think it was still normal type in Pokemon Yellow.
It was, yeah. No, that wasn't changed until Gold and Silver.
Okay, so it was still normal, and I remember there was huge threads on like the Miiverse thing where people go and talk and everything like that. And it was younger kids at the time playing it, and they're like, what the fuck? Brock is so hard. How come Pidgeotto's fucking gust isn't doing super effective damage? It's saying not effective. And it was so fucking funny because
It
they
was
put that
funny. That's so
people were
funny, man.
screenshotting it to put it on Twitter, and everyone was just like, people were like my age at the time. I think I was like 25 or 26 or some shit. I was just like, this is hilarious. Like, this
It
is
is funny,
fucking
man.
hilarious.
Yeah, man.
And like, they want to experience that now. Like 20 years from now, kids won't experience that. And I just thought that was so cool that they experienced that.
Yeah.
And
It's a moment in time that's specific to the time, you know?
exactly
Like,
how we had to
yeah.
go through that and why Brock was like super fucking hard for like
Bro,
most of us who
Brock and
chose.
Yellow was one of the hardest, dude. They were sadists. Like, they really. I gotta say, like, you know, as easy as Pokemon has become, and even back then it wasn't that hard. I will say that putting that roadblock of Brock there was really ballsy by the company, because this was like a new IP. This was like a brand new thing. You know, this was not an established franchise. You know, and to put that there, that probably fucked so many kids up. You know,
Yep.
and especially if you pick like Charmander as your starter.
Yep.
You know, because Squirtle and Bulbasaur had moves that were super effective, so he's super easy for them. But yeah, with Charmander, like, you had no options, dude. It was basically use your Charmander and like use Ember over and over again. That was the best way to do damage to
Hey,
Brock.
hope
Brock's
you burn
Pokemon.
the Pokemon
Yeah,
so they can.
exactly. Yeah, hope you burn them, and that would do more damage than any attack you could throw at them. You know, and it was even worse in fucking Yellow though, because your starter was electric. You know, it was Pikachu, so none of your moves worked. You know, obviously you had tackle, but it did nothing. Like, it
And no
was
grass types in the
nope,
Viridian Forest.
You can't
All
get a
you,
grass type till after that badge.
yeah.
So the only Pokemon you had access to at that point was Spearow, Caterpie, Beedrill, I think Pidgey, Rattata, and there might have been one more
You can
bug
catch
type.
a Pidgeotto, a level 9 Pidgeotto. I remember.
Okay.
It was super rare.
Yeah.
I remember. I did it though. You can catch a
Yeah.
level 9. There's like a 10% chance they'll appear in the forest.
And
So
all those Pokemon, even the Pidgeotto, they're completely ineffective against rock types. They have no moves at that early stage of the game that are effective against rock types. So yeah, it was pretty bonkers, man. Pretty bonkers. So
yeah. So I mean, I just thought that was funny.
some Pokemon history for you kids out there.
Yeah. It's actually funny. I jumped on Twitter today after like being off of it for a week, and
I saw your tweet.
Oh yeah.
I don't blame you. You
I
saw something else though. You're gonna bring up.
Yeah, that tweet was just fucking ridiculous. I jumped right off after that. I was like, oh my god.
Yep.
But so someone posted like pretty much saying Pokemon never been difficult. We already been through this conversation. I was actually surprised to see a lot of people come in at like I think like Diamond and Pearl and stuff like that. They were actually on the other side of the fence saying like, hey, we don't want it to be Dark Souls. We just want it to be challenging.
Mm-hmm.
And it was actually some nuanced conversation to it. People were like, is grinding a challenge? Should that be a challenge? I don't feel like grinding for 3 hours to beat one gym leader. And then some other people were saying like, it wasn't the grinding that was the problem. It was just that they forced you to think with the Pokemon that you had at that time. Yeah. So it wasn't really
what are your options? Grinding is like your last resort.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I thought that was just a very nuanced conversation, but some people were just like negating it. Like the person who posted it got like a whole bunch of retweets, and they were just not listening to the other people that were actually offering a nuanced conversation to it. They're like, well, maybe we can just have different difficulties. And they're like, people were like, well, no, it's for kids and it needs to be easy or not easy, but it needs to be enjoyable. And that's super subjective.
Pokemon sounds sucky too, man.
Yeah. And
even what do? You just increase the levels of the enemies you're fighting, or like it's
it was a very nuanced conversation.
Yeah.
I think people and a lot of people, and this is my sentiment of Pokemon too. I like the newer games. I like the stuff they offer the XP share. I think it's okay. I know there's a huge controversy about that. I don't mind it. My whole thing is like, it is extremely easy. Like I put it down sometime because I put down Sword and Shield because it was just so fucking easy.
After I was done with it, yeah, same.
Yeah,
there's got to be a middle ground. I feel like, you know,
yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and say that the first generation Pokemon's hard. It
It
wasn't.
wasn't. It was
But
challenging.
the challenge was there because, dude, when you get to the Elite Four for the
Fucking
first
God.
time, you ain't ready, dude. You ain't ready. Trust me, you ain't ready. You're not getting
Lance,
through that on your first attempt.
yeah,
Like
you're
it's
not.
forget about Lance, bro. You got to fight 5 trainers back to back to
Oh yeah,
back.
you
Like
can't even heal.
you can't you can only heal with items. There's no Pokemon shit. That's the first time in the game that's true. At any point in the game, like you can always get back to a Pokemon Center between battles, like up to that point in the game. That is the first time the game does that to you. And also the level jump that happens at that point in the game is fucking extreme because the last gym has Pokemon that are level like low 40s maybe.
Yeah.
And the first person you fight in the Elite Four is in the early to mid 50s, dude, for the most part, with most of their Pokemon. And you getting fucked. This is the first time you're fighting fucking ice Pokemon and shit. Like,
Oh
you didn't even know what
yeah.
that type was probably at that point.
You're
You
right.
know, like,
I
so
do remember
I'm not
getting
going
hit
to
with
say
Ice
it's
Beam.
hard. I'm not going to say it's hard, but it was set up in a way where it wouldn't be easy for people. You know, it would take
Yeah.
some time. You need to grind a little bit and redo your party somewhat, like your Pokemon party.
Yeah, you're right. You're
So
right. I just thought the
also,
conversation was really interesting that they were having,
yeah.
and
Mhm.
or that some of the people were having, like others were just being dicks and or whatever on both
Yeah.
sides. But I don't
Well,
know.
think
It
about
just
the types too, man. Sorry to interrupt, but I just
no,
want to, I want to,
no,
I
it's
want to,
cool.
want to drive this point home real quick. Think about the types of the trainers you're fighting. You've got water and ice as your first trainer, right? And ice being a type that's extremely uncommon in Gen 1, right? Something a lot of players may not have even fought up to that point. Or if they did, it was like a one-off trainer somewhere, you know?
Well, they really
Then
didn't
you
have
have
any.
Then you have fighting. Then you have fighting is the next one, and he's using Pokemon that are extremely powerful fighting Pokemon. You know, Machamp and shit, and he has like 3 different Machokes actually that he throws out. I will say that was a little much. But then you fight Ghost is the next one, and that was a type in Gen 1 that was extremely hard to deal with. You
That
know,
was
unless you didn't, unless you had a
Agatha.
Psychic, you know, to deal with them. That was a type that was tough. And then the last one is Dragon, which had one weakness in Gen 1, and that was Ice. And I don't think Dragon was effective against Dragon in Gen 1.
I
So
think I think it was. I think it was his own weakness.
I don't think it was, man. I think that was later. I think that was added later. So I think Ice was the only way to deal with it. So you basically needed Articuno, or like Dugong or Lapras, which Lapras was really hard to get.
Yeah.
So it was like Articuno basically was your option. And he was powerful. But then you had to fight your rival who had this completely wide, diverse set of Pokemon, you know,
Man,
of different types.
I think they did heal him. I think they did.
They
Heal
did.
you.
Yes, they would use full restores too. If you got them low, they'd use a full restore on their Pokemon. Which was bullshit.
I just remember sweating so hard when I went through that shit. And I was so fucking. I was like 8 or 9. I was like,
Yeah, man.
fuck yeah! I just beat everybody.
Yeah.
That shit was so fucking cool.
So, you know, give it its due for the time. It was well set up. I think it was well designed, personally.
You know what was even harder, in my opinion?
Yeah.
Fucking Red. When you're in Gold and Silver. When you face him,
sure.
you're completely unprepared for that shit.
Because, dude, you beat the Elite Four and you're like level 60 maybe. And his Pokemon are level 85, like fucking 90. His Pikachu's like 90. You know, none of your Pokemon can remotely outspeed that thing. Like, not even close, dude. There's no chance you're going first against this Pikachu. Like, you know?
Man, no, yeah. Red really put you in your place. You're like,
that shit was wild.
That shit was wild. And I was like, oh shit, it's me. You're
right. And he's like pulling out all his starters and they're just fucking you up, dude. Like you got Charizard just burning your shit to down, you know? You know, he's using that like fireman attack. I forget what the attack was. Fire Blast, was it?
Fire Blast, yeah.
Where it shoots like a person at you, like a fiery person at you or whatever, and it fucking obliterates everything. Like it's so powerful. It's a 5-point move. Like you can only use it 5 times before you need to like recharge the move. And it's like it's got like 250 power or something like that.
It's extremely fucking powerful.
And then he had that Snorlax that couldn't like had like 1,000 HP. You know, bonkers, man.
And then he'll rest. Oh,
classic, man. This is classic. I love this shit. I love talking about this stuff. This is nostalgia, pure nostalgia for me. So
I fucking love Pokemon, but hey, man, it is what it is.
Montrell, let's get going. Let's keep going here. I what I've been playing. Okay. I'm gonna try to go quickly as well here. Apex Legends, not much to say. Bravely Default 2, I do have a few things to say. So I played this a bit more. I will say my clock, I've been playing this game for like 3 weeks. My clock says I've played for like 16 hours. I play this game for like 30 minutes and then I shut it off. Like that's how I play it, and it's kind of a weird experience. I enjoy it actually. It's a great game to pick up and play for brief periods, but I'm starting to I love it. I really like the game a lot. I'm starting to notice these patterns though with it, where I think this game's set up in a very specific way, where there's a shitload of jobs in the game, but you have to defeat an enemy that's using the job to get access to that job. And these enemies are all bosses, so they're all boss fights. So basically, every boss fight in the game is a human. So far, that's been true. Now there are random encounters of rare spawn enemies that will spawn on the map that are actually monsters as bosses, basically. But they're not tied to the story at all. I have not fought a monster as a boss at all in the story so far. It's all been human characters. So that's like the one thing that's kind of disappointing me a little bit. There's like it's not that much variety unless you seek it out, in these boss fights. And these boss fights, dude, they're coming hot and heavy and constantly. It's constant, dude. I'm getting into boss fights in the middle of a town that I just got to, and I'm like, what the fuck? And it's this dude who's just like a fucking tank, and it takes me like 30 minutes to beat this dude because he takes no damage from anything, So some of the fights are a little crazy, and they are somewhat tedious sometimes. Like if you don't have the weakness on hand for the boss, the fights can really drag out, and it's not unenjoyable, but it may wear on me after a while. I'm just saying that. So also playing Neo 2, and I just have to bring up a story with this. So my brother and I have been playing this for like a month now, or more actually. And on Friday, the worst thing that can happen to a gamer happened to him. His save file got overwritten from his PlayStation Cloud. And he lost basically 20 to 25 hours worth of game progress. And that means we both did because we were playing together. So what happened was his game and his PlayStation Cloud, really his console and his PlayStation Cloud got desynced. And what it did was it synced back up after a few weeks, and then it overwrote his local save file with the one that was in the cloud.
No.
Yeah, and I went and looked online, and so did he, and I found actually there's a lot of people that have had this problem with PlayStation 5. So I'm sending out a public service announcement here with this. You may want to turn off your cloud saves because that's fucking nonsense. No cloud service should ever do what happened to him. Like,
so so you put it in your cloud service.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's automatic. Like if you have it on, if you had cloud saving on, it does it every time I think it does it every night. It'll power the PlayStation on and upload the saves. That's what it does.
And then what is Neo 2? Like Neo grabs it from the server?
No. It's just a backup, dude. So it doesn't play off the cloud save. It plays off the local save on your console.
Okay.
So that one that's uploaded to the cloud, it's just a backup in case you lose your data for some reason. Like say your console dies, you lose your console, your house explodes, something like that. That escalated quickly. Any of those things happen, you have a backup, that you can download onto a new console that you have to purchase or something like that. So you're safe, in that regard. It did the opposite in this case, where it took his local save and overwrote it from the cloud because the cloud was desynced from his console. That is completely backwards. That should never happen. Cloud stuff, like cloud storage, cloud backups, should never, ever, ever overwrite their local copy. That is absolutely horrible design, in my opinion. Like that defeats the purpose of them, Like it's there to protect your data, not destroy it, So yeah, it was bad. So we lost a shitload of time and we got shot. His save was back in region 1 and we were in region 4. And Montrell knows that is a huge amount of levels that we have to go through again. So we've been playing through that since last Friday, trying to catch back up, and we're in region 2 right now. Kind of getting through it. I actually haven't had a lot of time to play with him this week, unfortunately, but I'm still committed. There was a brief moment where he was wavering, and I thought he was going to quit on me. And I managed to convince him Thursday night, and we got back into it. So I think we're good now. I think we'll get through it again. But man, I'm pissed because like it's just so much time, like that I have to redo. It's like I didn't lose my character either. So fortunately, I still have my character, but it's like the character I'm playing with him now, I don't even really want to play that much. So I'm just kind of going through the motions, with it. And just hoping, like, when we get back to where we were, I'm going to switch back to my original character,
Mm-hmm.
So it sucks. It's not great. But, that's my story with Neo 2. In terms of watching as well, so I'm bringing this up specifically because it is a video game show.
Okay.
And I've been watching the Netflix Castlevania series,
Oh,
and I've gotten through the first two seasons. Yeah, yes,
God,
I've gotten through the first 2 seasons, and Montreal. Okay, so I know you really like this show. I need to hear your thoughts on it, man, because I think I'm gonna make some people mad, man.
But you don't like it?
Well, okay, hold on. Tell me, what do you think, man? You like this show? You think it's great?
So first of all, I'm coming from a person who's not into the Castlevania
Same.
series.
Same.
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought you were into it. I thought you knew about Castlevania lore and everything like that.
No, I mean I do know I know it vaguely, but I've not really played the games.
Okay, for some reason I don't know why I thought you were like super into Castlevania.
No.
So yeah, I do not like this realm of entertainment, the horror / super gory genre stuff. But for some reason, this shit is just very entertaining to watch. I like the characters. I like the action scenes. The story is not super convoluted. There's a clear goal in mind. There's a clear reason why stuff is happening. Season 2, a little bit on the weaker side, but season 1 to me was like phenomenal. I think season 1 was.
But season 1's only 4 episodes, so
okay, maybe it was season 2. I'm thinking about season 3. Then I know or maybe season 2 was like super long. I don't know.
I do want to bring it up because season 1 and 2, there's the same story arc. They're part of the same story arc.
So
right?
Season 3. That's weak.
I mean, I don't know how much we want to get into spoilers here, but I haven't watched season 3 at all. Actually, I just finished season 2 yesterday. So, but yeah, season 3 continues the story, but after a huge event that happens at the end of season 2. So I'm kind of like curious, like what's even the point now? It just seems like the show's just continuing just because it got renewed, like there's not really a reason to continue the show. Like all the story arcs kind of were wrapped up at the end of season 2, but
I
they got renewed.
Just continue through season 3, and there is some stuff that will happen.
I'm sure it's good, but
yeah, it's gonna like come back around and make sense.
Okay.
But like I would say, since you know the story, they're pulling stuff from other regions. They hinted at that earlier on in the show, that they're more powerful vampires, like the one in season 1 and 2, but they're just in different regions of the world. So now another one is coming. They're pulling from another region, almost like a boss fight type deal. So that's happening, but then that's like brief, and then something else happens. I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but I can definitely see where you're coming from season 3. To me, it was the early game of season 3 was fucking weak as shit. Like I was just like,
well, I get the impression that it's just kind of characters like wandering around, and it's almost like Monster of the Week kind of stuff. Like that's what I'm kind of thinking happens based on where
it becomes it's like episodic almost, but they're connecting it at the end of the episode and shit. Like there are some episodes where it's just fully story driven, but there are more other episodes where it's just like whatever, bro. Like I don't really care about Hector and his fucking love interest, that vampire. Like I just don't fucking care about it. So it's like and then the other guy, I forgot his name, Isaac, and his
I really like that character.
his
I think he's
character's
awesome.
okay, but it's like
Yeah.
he's a simp for fucking Dracula, and
True.
it's getting super annoying now.
True.
And
True.
like his
Well, I'm
hatred for
interested to see where it goes, though. You know,
it
because
takes a weird arc. Like
okay.
I'm over his hatred for humans now. Like, okay, we get it. You're a self-hating human yourself, and you just fucking hate humans because humans treat you like they go deep into. They don't go super deep. They give him like an episode explaining his backstory, and
Mhm.
maybe they did that earlier in the season 1 or 2. I don't know. It's kind of a
They
blur to
did.
me.
They did a
Okay,
little. Yeah.
yeah, but like it's like I just at this point, bro, I just don't fucking care. Like he's a cool character at first, but then like his whole hatred of human things is just getting really, really old. I'm like, all right, bro, like we get it. You hate
Hmm.
humans and you can spawn demons. Like cool for you. Boom.
Yeah. Yeah, because what I thought they were gonna do was actually do a time skip in season 3 and like just go to like a completely different time period, like a new
Mm,
generation, which I thought they could have pretty cleanly done, you know,
yeah,
with
actually,
no repercussions at all. Because no offense, I don't think any of these characters were like beloved enough to have to like force the show to continue forward with this cast. It's like a lot of the characters are immortal as well, so you could have carried them forward into different time periods.
yeah.
So it's kind of like, yeah, we would have lost some human characters and that would have been a little sad, but it's like, especially with the Belmont part of it, is like there are other Belmonts in Castlevania lore,
So
like you.
that's an interesting thing. I'm wondering if Konami gave them the IP and it was like, hey,
Mhm.
but don't touch the original. I think his name's Simon and
Yeah.
what's the other guy's name? Oh fuck.
Leon. No, that was the one in the show that they used. Yeah, no, Simon Belmont. I forget the one from Castlevania One.
Is it Trevor?
Is it Trevor? Because that's the name of the character in the.
Okay, no, it's not Trevor
um
then. It's not
Okay,
Trevor. Trevor is before everyone. I think he's like, yeah, I think he's like
Richter.
Richter. There you go.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
actually, sorry, no, it is Trevor. It is Trevor. That's the Wikipedia says for it.
Trevor
So
wait, Trevor's in the game?
hold on, Castlevania video games. Here we go, games. Um, I'll find it. Just keep going. We'll try with your point.
So what I'm thinking is they probably have some kind of clause where they're like, don't use the video game characters. Use like you can make stuff up and add to the lore or whatever like that,
Hmm.
but don't use the video game characters or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's probably why they didn't do that. Yeah, because like Richter is like way up in the family or way down rather in the family tree, and so is Simon. So like
Oh, Simon's in the first two games,
yeah,
actually.
yeah, so
So
but
yeah,
like he's like way down in the family tree though. So
yeah.
I want to say this character that you're playing or the character that's in the actual video game or no in the what's the character in the movie? I mean in the show
Trevor.
Castlevania.
His name's Trevor.
Okay, so
But
this
he's
no
like the
this
last Belmont. The whole Belmont family had been killed except for him.
so yeah,
So
okay, so that's okay. So these are based off video game characters because Trevor Belmont actually appears in a video game. I'm
okay,
looking at it right now.
okay. I don't know which one. There's a ton of Castlevania games.
Yeah, he appears
Um,
in Castlevania 3. Okay.
okay.
So he appears in Castlevania 3 and actually the lady he's traveling with is his wife. They start the Belmont uh family tree over again.
I
So
see.
so this is like an origin story, I guess. But yeah, you're
Mhm.
right. Like the next one would be like it says two unknown descendants. So I'm thinking right there it says two unknown descendants. They may start a whole new storyline, and then it goes to Christopher, who was in the first one,
Yeah,
a
because then I
Castlevania
mean, then
Adventure.
there was like Richter.
Yeah, I'm
Obviously,
looking at
Alucard was in some of the later Castlevania games as
yeah.
well.
So like it goes Christopher, who was in the first Castlevania Adventures, and then Castlevania 2,
Hmm.
Castlevania the Adventure, Castlevania 2, and then it goes Trevor or not Trevor, but then it goes Sleo Belmont. I don't know how to pronounce his name. It
Hmm.
looks like this was it was in the GBA. He was in the GBA games, one of the Konami
Mm-hmm.
GBA games. And then it goes Simon after that, who obviously was Castlevania, the first Castlevania, and then Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest. There were two Castlevania 2s? What the fuck? All right. There
Yeah,
you
it's
go.
weird.
Yeah, yeah. And then it goes to just T. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He looks pretty evil though, but
Oh, this series, I think might be based on Castlevania 3 because Sypha is also in Castlevania 3, and she's one of the main characters of the show. So
Mm.
interesting. And Alucard actually first appears in Castlevania 3 as well.
Oh, okay. So that's cool.
So
Okay.
it might be some sort of retelling of that version of that game potentially. I don't know. I mean, I haven't played the game, so talking out my
Yeah.
ass a little
So,
bit. But
um, yeah, I think maybe so. Maybe that just threw my theory out the window. Then maybe I thought maybe Konami was like, you got to be really strict. Maybe they just gave them. Maybe they just want to do a retelling of fucking
of a specific story, yeah,
yeah
potentially. I mean, they could definitely restrict what they're able to do for sure. They're
yeah
IP controllers, but I just thought it was weird because it was set up like everything was pretty much wrapped up for the most part. There were some characters that had some hanging threads, but it wasn't that like important to see their arcs through. You know, they're not like super valuable. Like Isaac was one of them. You know, like he was just kind of cleanly cut off from the story, and you could have just kind of left it like that, and I wouldn't have really been that upset about it.
yeah,
So
and it's just even at the end of season 3, like his honestly his story arc isn't like done. It's
yeah,
like he's
well,
going
clearly
on
they're
a
gonna continue with these characters. So
yeah, so it's an okay show. Like the story is okay. I actually just watch it for the action because I think the animation is
okay.
really fucking cool.
Well, so this is what I was. Well, this is what I was going to bring up, though. Is where my opinion on this might be unpopular. Is that like I think this game or this show, this series, like very clearly has a limited budget. Because I like the animation is pretty good, but there are very clear moments where it's awkward as fuck. You know, where
Okay.
there's like frames that just hold on screen for a little bit longer than they should,
All
and
right. So
you
do you
know,
see this is my biggest issue with Avatar.
yeah.
So is it like to you like it's skipping? Like it's not moving like
Yeah.
fluid?
Yes, that's what it seems like. They're like they might be animating every other frame sometimes, and
Okay. I asked somebody that and
yeah,
that's what I think that's what DJ told me.
hmm
Um But that's why I could not for the fucking longest. So my brain registered it like this is going to be the way it is. Like it's impossible for me to watch, and everybody's going to get up my shit about this. It's impossible for me to watch the original Avatar: The Last Airbender because
hmm
holy fucking shit, the
hmm
animation on some episodes is just unbearable. I can't do it. I'm just like
yeah,
I can't do
yeah.
this.
Well, that's a way. That's a way to save money, right? If you do every other frame, you're making you're doing half the animations, which is a humongous amount of savings in terms of manpower and all that. You
Yeah,
know,
and I totally
but
get that.
it's noticeable though,
Yeah.
like it does degrade the product. So you know, I don't know if this is exactly what's happening with Castlevania. I don't think it's all the time either.
No, it's definitely because
It's
there are certain
inconsistent.
fights
So
where it's like you're like holy
yeah.
shit, and then there's certain
Yes,
fights where
exactly.
like
There are some times where the fights are very well animated. So they clearly put their money in specific places, you know.
yeah.
Um
I
and
I thought it was like an American studio thing because a lot of American studios that imitate like
Mhm.
the anime style, they do the frame cut. They animate every 2 frames or something like that. Because
Mhm.
last Cord does the same thing. Even
Mhm.
that Zeus show, like I can't. Everyone loves that Zeus show, that Netflix Zeus show.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I'm not into it. I just can't get past the animation, in my opinion. So
So yeah, like I think this show is good. Like Castlevania, this Netflix series is good. I just think people are kind of overselling it though, you know? Like there's a like Twitter is in love with this series, you know? And I think people are kind of projecting how much they want a video game show to succeed onto it. Like
I,
it's
I
like the
will admit,
hero we all want, you know?
yeah, I will admit,
Um
yeah, I want that too. So it's like,
and like you said, the story is good, but it's nothing mind blowing, dude. There's not like humongous plot threads that are really complicated and mind blowing. It's a very straightforward story. The characters have a goal, they work towards that goal, and then they achieve their goal. You know, it's like it's pretty cut and dry in that regard. There is some political intrigue, but it doesn't really go anywhere the first 2 seasons. It's kind of muted and to be honest, not very interesting. A lot of these side characters are completely uninteresting. And another reason that I know another thing I noticed that is a key indicator that this show had a pretty limited budget is that a lot of the quote important characters literally never speak. They don't have voice actors. Like the Dracula's generals never say a word ever. in any episode they're in. Like, not one time do they speak a line. The only ones who do are Carmilla and Gottbrand, and then his 2 Forge Masters, and that's it. The rest of them, and there's like 4 or 5 other vampire generals from all these various regions, and they never speak. They fight,
shit,
but they
right.
never say anything. Like,
I completely forgot about them.
Yeah, and it's so noticeable to me, and I've never heard anyone say anything about it. And I'm like, I mean, okay, I guess, but why are they even here then? You know, it's like, so they're not even given like, maybe having no voice actor is better than having a shitty one, but it's awkward though when you like focus the screen on them talking amongst themselves and they're not speaking. There's no one saying anything. You don't even have mumbling noises. It's just silent and they're like kind of moving their lips. It's like, it's noticeable, like that kind of thing is noticeable to me. So the show's got flaws, like for sure, but it's good. Like it's an admirable show, and I'm glad it was made, and I'm glad it's continuing, and I'm glad people like it. But this isn't like Attack on Titan or something like that, which that show's animation is absolutely fucking bonkers.
It was a hot take on Twitter.
Yeah,
someone said, I know this is not an anime show, but you said Attack on Titan. This is probably one of the reasons I got off Twitter, because I just couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah,
they were just like, oh, they said, yeah, Attack on Titan's good, but it's still not better than Naruto or One Piece. And people were fucking agreeing, like, oh no, and that
fanboys, bro.
That wasn't the one that got me. The one that got me was like, yeah, Attack on Titan's good, but the support cast is ass.
Yeah, no, that one, I mean, they don't know what they're talking about, dude. Like, the support cast is the show. It is the show.
And I got destroyed. He's like, you don't know, Aaron. You don't even know what you're talking, bro. You're wrong.
These are a bunch of Aaron simps, man. I can't stand people, man. Like, bro, what do you got? What did they see in him? He's useless,
bro.
Dude, the last episode of Attack on Titan, spoilers, so skip ahead like 15 seconds. Levi literally is standing in a forest and thinking about everything, and he's like, you know how many fucking times I had to save Aaron's little bitch ass, and it's led here, and this is bullshit. It's like, and it's true. Like, it's totally true. Aaron was fucking.
And people.
He's like Princess Peach, man. Like, he always has to be rescued.
People think I am crazy. Like, and I don't know if it's like a group mindset for me and you, like a hive mindset thing.
We have our own little hive mind going.
Yeah, like maybe we have we
convince each other. Yeah,
yeah, we bounce off each other a little bit too much because, bro, I just don't see it. Like, people are legitimately calling me crazy. Like, they're like, no, Aaron was a really good MC. What are you talking about? And I'm like, am I dumb? Am I stupid? I just.
What's good about him, I guess, is like the question I'd ask. Like, what characteristics does he have as an MC, and what things did he do that you're globbing onto that make him a good main character?
So,
like, because all he does is fail. All he does is fail and bitch and cry and moan, and like, that's all he does for 3 seasons. It's just, he flails around. He gets lucky. He never accomplishes anything really on his own merits. There's a few exceptions to that.
I don't know. But it's like, I don't know if you watch Hunter x Hunter, but he reminds me of the main character Gong. But Gong has a strong support cast as well, and he doesn't get all the glory. Like, there's even one whole arc where the main character is non-existent because he can't use Nin anymore. So it's like that, but like, Aaron is never non-existent throughout the whole thing. He's like a main focal point in the whole thing. He's always
there, pretty much.
He's always
There's
there.
a brief period in season 3 where he's pretty absent, but yeah.
But yeah, like you said, I'm trying to think of his feats, and it's like,
I mean, his one feat, and I'm spoilers again, is that he absolutely owns Reiner twice. Those are his 2 feats that really stand out to me. But most of the characters he goes up against, he gets his ass handed to him. Annie beat the shit out of him, like, and everybody else he either didn't fight or lost to, so
but even off Titan mode, right? What is this character?
I mean, off Titan mode, he's got nothing. Like, his first Titan kill was like most of the way through season 2, outside of his Titan form, There was like a specific moment where they let him kill a Titan with his 3D maneuver gear,
But that's the thing. Like, I'm talking about, like, just in general, how is this character enjoyable to watch? Like he's not like Naruto. Like yeah, we can call Naruto annoying, but like he has legitimate character qualities that I like in the character. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
And he
he's
grows and learns and gets
exactly.
better,
We don't see growth until this season. And then I was like, oh, he's the GOAT MC. Like he's
And it
GOAT.
kind of comes out of nowhere though, too, because there's like a time skip and he's like a completely different person, after the time skip. And I like who he is now, but the character development up to that point is like, unfortunately, we're gonna learn how he changed and why he changed through flashbacks, and like that is debatable whether that's a good way to tell the story or not. Um, that your mileage will vary on that, whether you like that or not.
Yeah, yeah.
And in my case, and I think Montrell's case, I don't mind. I like who he is now, and I'm glad he's there. And it
Yes.
makes sense. There is foreshadowing as to why he is the way he is now, and I don't. I like the character he is
Oh
now.
yeah, I like the character now, but before
Yeah,
you could not convince me. If you're like Montrell or $1 billion, say you love fucking Aaron, I'm like,
yeah.
well, you better get $1 billion to somebody else because I do not like him, bro. Like if we
I
put
would
him
really
into,
like to get a couple people on our show and do like a side podcast, like not a main show or anything like that, but
yeah,
to
yeah,
just sit down and like really get some people who disagree with us and really like kind of hash it out.
I
Because
do
like if
too.
you go through
I just want to understand.
if you go through the events, man, I don't get it. I don't really get it, because what his most competent moment actually is in the entire series up until the beginning of season 4, in my opinion, is actually the second time he sees the Colossal Titan in episode 4 or 5 of the show of the first season, and he tries to kill it. And he's actually keeping his shit together and doing a really good job. Like I rewatched the show and I was like, damn, I forgot how kind of fucking cool he looked in this moment. And then everything goes to shit for him, and it turns into what it turns into. But yeah, so it's like that's like one of his best feats is just kind of holding his own, not like winning or anything. So yeah, I don't know. Okay.
All right.
We really got off track there.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
let's get back on the rails. That is it for what I've been playing, watching that I want to talk about. Let's get into the news. So today, Square Enix had a live stream, I guess we'll call it. And they showcased a bunch of games, and I didn't watch this myself, so Montreal, you're gonna have to like kind of guide us through this a little bit better. But it seems like not a lot really came of this live stream.
Yes. So oh no, I'm sorry. Were you done? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So I made an outline of what was going on. So first they showed Outriders. They just showed gameplay and trailer and about the game.
Oh, is that what this is? Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm watching things now.
I do like. Okay, so my problem with Outriders is it's 5 years too late.
Yeah,
we're done with this. The looter shooter. Like I at least I think I am, and I know a lot of people around me who are into Destiny and into like Borderlands. Like we're not going to anything new. I would go back to Destiny, but I'm not going to anything new. And I think that's the problem with Outriders. Outriders is 5 years too late. They did something which I say a lot of looter shooters should do. They have clear roles. That they have a tank, they have a DPS, they have I don't know if they have a healer, but they have a support.
Yeah.
They define their roles, but it's just like I wouldn't even say 5 years. I'll give it 3. It's 3 years too late, bro. Like we're done with this. Like we don't fucking care. This game had it came out in 2018, 2017. It would have been well received. But I think now we're so far removed from this because we've seen these games come and go. I mean, we just saw fucking Anthem go, that people just don't want to give it a chance. And I understand it. The gameplay looks solid, but it doesn't
the demo did well though, dude.
See, I heard like different responses from that. That's crazy.
Okay.
But so
yeah, we never tried it, so I don't know how I feel, but
I've been watching like streams of it and everything, and it's like the gameplay looks really solid. It just like it's not super spectacular though, you know what I'm saying? But it is very solid. It looks like a very solid dark sci-fi shooter. The world is actually pretty interesting, to be honest with you. The gameplay trailers and the story trailers they showed, like I didn't really know the setup for it, but I was like, damn, this world actually looks pretty fucking cool. It actually kind of reminds me of Anthem.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah,
not good.
yeah. Well, like the
Yeah.
story, I thought the story was like really cool in Anthem. But obviously that game's dead, so we're not gonna talk about that. So the next game they showed was the Tomb Raider 25-year celebration, and they also have the Tomb Raider Definitive Survivor Trilogy trailer. So I think they're going to remake they're remaking not the original Tomb Raiders, but Tomb Raider the remake,
new
the
ones.
new
Yeah,
ones. Yeah,
they're putting them in a package, right?
yeah, they're remastering
Sounds
them
like.
for newer consoles and stuff like that. So that's coming soon. And then Laura Croft is also in Fortnite. Whoa, everybody, hold your marbles there, buddy. And she's
She's
also
already in there, by the way. That is live.
okay,
So
and she's
yeah.
coming to Brave Exvius.
Ooh, she actually already came to Brave Exvius.
Oh, really?
Back when I played the game, there was an event with her in it. So that was like a few years ago. So she's
That's
already in the game. She's getting a new event, I'm sure. That's
okay.
like, and she's probably getting upgraded to 7-star or 8-star, whatever the fuck they're at now. And you need like 8,000 copies of her to make her as powerful as she can be.
These gotcha gays, man, they're so funny.
They are, dude. They just exponentially get more ridiculous every time they do a new banner or something.
Die off of Genshin Impact, which is interesting. A lot of people are like, "I'm so fucking tired of this game."
Well, I dropped it, man. I dropped it as well. Part of that was because I was addicted to it and kind of just needed to move on, but also because the game just didn't have anything going on. These 6-week patches. The first 2 weeks of those 6-week patches were great and super fun, but the 4 weeks after that were boring. There was nothing going on, like the game would you just be doing the same dailies every day and, logging in and fucking fighting some monsters and farming some materials. And that was the game. And at a certain point, when you grind it enough, the game becomes like trivial where it's like not even fun anymore because the game's not challenging anymore. You've out leveled the power scaling of the game, and that's how gacha games end up if you put a lot of money into them. And even if you don't, eventually you'll get there if you play enough, and Genshin Impact's kind of arc with that was actually pretty grindy, but people are starting to get there around January, and I imagine now it's even worse. So it is what it is. That's kind of why I wanted to quit, because I think I just want to come back to it in a couple of years and like have like a fuck ton of content, to run through. So, yeah. So,
yeah. Just Cause Mobile. I don't know if it's a fucking battle royale or if
they
it's
described it. Yeah, this one. Oh yeah, I don't know, dude. Just Cause, this is from their website, so there's a bunch of stuff on their website from this live stream. Just Cause Mobile puts the incendiary action of the Just Cause series in the palm of your hand. You'll create your own agent and join the ranks of the Firebrand, a special division within the agency.
Why do they
your mission? Stop a new mercenary group known as Darkwater.
Why do they still type stuff like this? Like we're just
it's so corny, man.
Yeah, like
it's funny,
and you know what? I don't know what I expect because this is always going to be a thing. It's never going to go away. But
yeah,
I don't know, man. Sometimes it's just amazingly corny. Like the way you're just reading, I'm just like, yeah, that's how I read it too in my head. And
that's how they want you to read it, dude.
But why? We're not. I guess people fall for it. Maybe you know what?
Good, it works on someone.
Yeah, good for those people. If they want to get into reading that action voice, cool, man. It's just not for me. Anyway, so I think Hitman Sniper Assassins. I don't know if that's a fucking.
It's another mobile game. However, this is made. This is being made by the studio that made Lara Croft Go and Hitman Go and Deus Ex Go. So those are actually pretty well developed and well liked mobile games. So we'll see what they can come up with here, but.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a battle royale. They just showed the trailer in the thing.
Yeah, and they didn't show any like gameplay or anything. It looks like so.
Then we got Space Invaders AR game. Okay. And yeah, and then we got some. So I forgot that Square Enix bought this old company, Taito. They bought their IPs and stuff like that. So they actually remastered a lot of their games.
Yeah, so that company owns Space Invaders.
No,
I
Taito.
guess.
I don't think they own Taito. I don't think they own
Or is
Space
Space
Invaders.
Invaders like public domain kind of thing? Because Tetris is like that. Tetris is public domain. Anybody
Oh,
can
it
make a
is.
Tetris game.
Okay, so
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
maybe
yeah.
Space Invaders is the same. Like,
Okay. I
it's
mean,
just a
they're
public.
very old. They're
Yeah,
extremely old. It's an extremely old franchise. So,
yeah,
I mean,
and
getting
they
close to
actually
50
remastered
years.
some Taito games.
Okay.
For like some of them are actually like remade in 3D, which is really cool. Like I don't know if you know Bubble Master, but they remade that in like 3D and stuff like that. So
Okay.
it's really cool.
Hmm.
And then we have the Marvel Avengers trailer. Uh, it's a storyline for Hawkeye.
Yeah, and he's wearing like what did I call it before the
A
show? Is it like
Target,
a Target
yeah,
T-shirt that
Target
you can buy at
T-shirt.
Target or something? Yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, it's for a storyline with dealing with like I think it's old. I don't know the characters. I want to say Old Man Hulk or something like that, or
Hmm.
like something of that nature. Yeah, I think it is. It's Bruce Banner, but it's Old Man Hulk, and he's like a villain in this one. So yeah, because Hulk has different personalities in the comics, and this is like pulling straight from the comic book source.
Hmm.
So they're going like super deep. So a lot of comic book fans are like actually excited for this. Like I know my group chat because they're comic book nerds. They love this
Hmm.
shit. They love
Hmm.
Marvel's Avengers. Um, I was actually thinking about picking it up after this because it's only $30 now. So I'm like,
Yeah,
and I
I don't
like
do
the
it, dude.
combat. The combat looks really dope. I
Don't
was
do
just
it.
gonna pay full price for it. So I mean, it's 30
Mhm.
$30 now. So I may pick
It'll
it
be
up.
free to play. It'll be free to play in a few months.
Yeah, you're right. I probably should just wait.
That's my bet. That's my bet.
um. So yeah, they showed some. They actually showed like a good amount of this actually.
Hmm.
Um. For about 5 or 6 minutes, they were just showing Hawkeye his extended gameplay. Then they showed a roadmap of things to come within the next year or two, and they showed an announcement for the Black Panther expansion that which is coming on later on this year. So probably most likely in the summertime. They're probably going to
Hmm.
announce it around E3 or something like that. Uh,
Okay.
then we have something called Violent Wonderland or Wonder World
Yep.
rather,
Yep.
and that looks like a kids game.
It does.
It looks like it's designed for kids, so I wasn't really too excited about it. But I know if I was maybe 5 or 6 at this time, or 7 or 8, I would probably like, oh
Characters look like they're out of Sonic, man.
yeah, I would look at it like, oh shit, this looks cool as fuck.
Yeah.
Um, it reminds me, the aesthetic reminds me of fucking of Knights, and then like you're right, some of the music and stuff reminds me of Sonic as well, which is
Well, some of the character designs too, just the way their bodies are,
yeah,
where they have also Mega Man-ish as well, somewhat.
yeah,
Where they have like really small arms and legs and kind of bigger torsos, you know.
yeah. So yeah, this is definitely a kids game, and I'm glad they're branching out and trying new stuff. I mean, it is what
Hmm.
it is. Um, I'm probably not gonna buy it, but I'm probably know a lot of little kids in my family that will love this game. So then they have Life is Strange True Colors. I'm not a big Life is Strange connoisseur, but I know this has a huge fan base.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, this
so
was the big one, huh? I
yeah,
guess they were showcasing because this
this
got
was their
like
big
20
one.
minutes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was huge. It got like 15 to 20 minutes.
Hmm.
They showed, you know, uh, I guess singing is going to be a huge part of the game and things of that
Hmm.
nature. Like your character's like some kind of underground, like not a rock star, but up and coming, trying to just just loves music and stuff like that. And then obviously there's
Hmm.
stories surrounding it and everything of that nature.
Yeah.
They also announced Life is Strange, One More Thing,
Hmm.
um, which is yeah. So Life is Strange and Life is Strange Before the Storm is going to be remastered for PlayStation 5, and I
I
don't know
see.
if it's going to be
Okay.
remastered for Xbox One
Okay.
X, but yeah. Or
And then this one, they did say the new one, True Colors, is going to be a full game. There's going to be no
yeah,
episodes
that's another
to it,
thing. Yep.
which is actually huge. That's a big one. I think that is a great call. Frankly, I think a lot more people are going to just jump into this immediately
Yeah,
as a result. So,
I think the franchise earned its right, like to
mhm.
do that, and I think the company
Yeah.
now believes in it. They don't have to do episodic adventures; they can just do it a full-fledged game. And I may not like the game, but from what everyone's told me who like these really story-driven games, it's fucking excellent. So I'm glad the company that's doing it actually earned their chops and was like, yo, now we can do this.
Mm-hmm.
So the last one that they showed, which was like maybe 3 minutes, they showed the actor and mocap actor, which is the same person, actress rather. She was talking about Project Athena, which we now have. They showed gameplay footage, but it was nothing that we haven't seen already. It was just more of that. They really didn't show any combat, so it looks like from what I've saw, you're gonna be like moving really fast throughout the world. So the world is going to be fucking huge because you're going to be moving, like you're going to be hop stepping and moving fast, and you're like a spellcaster. It looks like because you can control elements and things of that nature.
Okay.
So it's going to be called Forspoken, and it's coming in summer of 2020, or not summer, spring of 2021. So be on the lookout for that guy. Yep.
Wait, that's like now.
Or not 2021, 2022. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
2022.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and actually one more release date, Balan Wonderland. That is coming out on the 26th, so very soon, next week.
Yeah, and one more release date, September 10th for Life is Strange, the new one. September 10th.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, yeah, it sounds like they're, I don't think this was really, necessary, but this is the world we live in now. We're in a post E3 world, man, where everyone's got to do these. So it is what it is.
Yeah, but it's like they're weak. Like,
no, just give your shit to Sony or Xbox, and let them do a state of play / Xbox Presents or whatever they're calling it. Like, just do that, please.
Because I'm pretty sure they wasted money on this.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. How much production time and your people's time did you put into this? Whereas you could have literally just given Sony a trailer for some of these games and they would just play it as part of a state of play. It's like, I don't know, but that's just my opinion. I think they're better presented in that environment generally. But because, yeah, it's like Square has way more shit they're working on than this. And this was very heavily focused on their Western development studios. There was very little from their Eastern development studios, and that's really what people care about with Square. Like, for me in particular, like, that's where their bread and butter is. That's where all the good franchises are for the most part, is in the Eastern studios. So,
hot take. You know what? This is my hot take, man. Maybe their Eastern studios aren't making as much money as the Western IPs.
Possible. It's definitely possible. I mean, they do make kind of really Japanese games that don't have as wide of an appeal as something like Call of Duty or, some of them more like Assassin's Creed or something like that. Like, they don't have their big hitter like those companies do, because Final Fantasy is not, it's big, but it's not that big, It's not like Assassin's Creed big. It's definitely not Call of Duty big. And even with EA, it's not like it's not like Madden or anything like that. Like, they don't have their signature franchise. I mean, Final Fantasy is that signature franchise, but it's just not as big as the other big guys,
Well, it's not, it's iconic, I'll say.
Yes.
Like,
everyone knows it.
Yeah. Like, I think even people who don't play video games, like, I even go as far as to say, it's almost the name itself, not just the characters, but the name itself is as big as Mario. Like, people know what Final Fantasy is.
Absolutely.
Even
people outside of gaming have heard that.
Yeah, exactly. So if I walk up to someone, I'm like, "Hey, you play Final Fantasy?" They're like, "No, but I've heard of that game before," because I know it's like some kind of Japanese game or some shit like that. Like, it's like Mario. If you walk up to people and they know who Mario is, people will know what Final Fantasy is, in my opinion. Right. So they reached that iconic status, but like, you're right, they don't have a series in the West besides Final Fantasy that they can just like milk money out of, and I think they're trying to get that.
Right.
Like I said, if Outriders had came out 3 years ago, that could have been their cash cow game, but they don't
Avengers
have that
was
yet.
Actually good,
You say what?
Or Avengers was actually good, actually hit off with people.
I mean, can we talk about not Avengers, but like Square? I think they're trying to position themselves to be Activision, but they don't have the games.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
just don't have that. They don't have a Battlefield. They don't have a fucking Call of Duty.
No, they don't. I mean, I'm trying to think of a series of theirs that is kind of in that ballpark, even like Battlefield, There's nothing there really. I'm struggling to think of it right now. I'm sure there's something I'm forgetting, but
No, you're right.
they're
They don't have like a super like what game has passed like 25 million? Like they don't have a Grand Theft Auto or whatever. Like I think they're trying to solidify themselves as that.
15 million copies sold. I don't even know what series they have that can get there because I don't even think Final Fantasy gets there, man.
You don't
15
think
million
so?
is a lot. That's a lot of copies, dude. And there's very few games that hit that realm, but most of the major publishers have games in there, around there. So, I don't know. I mean, they're fine. Like they're not in trouble or anything. That's not what we're
Yeah,
suggesting.
yeah. I'm not saying that. It's just
I think they're in a weird spot though, because I think they're trying to find something. They are trying to find something that they can really make a cash cow out of, and I think there's a certain point, and I think more recently they have started to accept their place, because they are kind of going back to their roots with Final Fantasy, Bravely Default. You've got Triangle Strategy. Some of these franchises that they're good at making. Like
yeah.
they are a good publisher that knows how to make those kind of games, and they do it well, and they're fun games. But I think they're finally getting back
Oh,
around to letting those be kind of what they make and what they're known for, because that is their niche, trying to break into the Western sphere. It's just, I don't know if it's going to work for them,
oh,
and
okay.
yeah,
I'm
sorry, go ahead.
sorry to cut you off. So they do own Space Invaders. They own that.
Oh, okay.
It was made by it was a manufacturer and sold by Taito, and then it was later the production license was acquired by Midway, and then after Midway went out, fucking they got the license back for it. So
Okay.
if you want to be honest, as far as gross money sales, Space
Yeah.
Invaders is their biggest IP.
Yeah.
$3.8
Yeah, but
billion dollars.
yeah, but now though, like, is it really that, it's not that Resident Evil
It said
IP now.
with inflation, yeah, 14 billion. That's still their highest
Oh
one.
my god, that's crazy, dude.
The second one under that is 1.9 billion, and that's Final Fantasy 14. That's their second.
Okay.
That's their second.
Really? 14 did
Yeah,
it. Of course it did, because of the recurring monthly fee,
yeah. So,
that does wonders.
so if you, and then actually under that is Final Fantasy 11 because recurring fees, and
Again,
then
MMO. Yeah.
under that is going to be Final Fantasy 7. That grossed the most, like as far. So, but sales wise, pure numbers and sales, software sales, Final Fantasy 7, 13 million
Lifetime?
lifetime.
That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm saying. That even that one's not at 15 million. So like that's where Square is at, Whereas the rest of these companies are easy, in 10, 15 million range, pretty much yearly with some of these releases, Madden, NBA 2K, Call of Duty, of course,
Mm-hmm.
the big boys, even the Assassin's Creed games. I don't know if they're getting that high, but they're probably close to 10 mil, I would bet, sales wise. So that's kind of where Square is. They're part of that like big 4 or 5 publishers that are outside of the manufacturers, but they're the big Japanese publisher. That's kind of who they are.
Yeah,
And this is why I really am encouraged that they are kind of accepting that as who they are and not trying to like fucking
yeah,
become bigger than the other ones, because they're not going to win that battle. They're not good at making Western games. Like that's not their strong suit. They have some decent studios in that realm like Crystal Dynamics and Eidos, but they have been misusing those studios for the last like 5+ years, Like Eidos wants to make Deus Ex games. Let them make fucking Deus Ex games and market them properly and don't turn them into microtransaction machines, okay? And then they might sell well. Okay, Square, can we do that? Can we fucking do that? Because Deus Ex Mankind Divided is a phenomenal video game that basically no one's played, because I don't know why. Maybe the franchise just doesn't resonate with people, but a part of it though is their pre-order campaign for that was heinous. The microtransactions in that game are completely just like like Frankenstein monstered onto the game like in a horrible way, and it's just not. I think a lot of that detracted from the game's appeal and hurt the game overall. So
yeah, no, you're right. The problem is I'm looking at this, and that's a part of their games as well. Unfortunately, it didn't even make like Deus Ex didn't even make their top 50.
of course not.
The top
No,
40.
Mankind Divided sold like shit.
Yeah,
Dude, that game was $15 within a month of it coming out. The year it came out, it was a complete travesty.
That's great. So I'm looking at these sales, and it's crazy. I see why they're so focused on Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider, first of all, the 96 version that sold 7.5 million copies, and that's fucking
big franchise. For them. Yeah.
Tomb Raider. These are like the original PlayStation ones. They showed 8 million. So yeah, that franchise, the original 3, sold really well. And then even the remake, Rise of Tomb Raider, sold more than Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah,
that's insane.
No, Tomb Raider is very resonant. It's an extremely resonant IP for sure, and I think Deus Ex can be there though. That's my issue.
No, you're right. It can be there.
It's just they mismanage it, man.
Yeah,
and they don't release it in the right windows, and they don't market it well, and they kind of bury it sometimes, and it's like it sucks.
That's
because
insane, man. Like
some of their best games.
Some of these games, I'm looking at the sales in a lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
You would think they're higher than what they are just because of the legendary status they've reached in the gaming community, and it's just like,
yeah, perception is not reality, man. You would think Final Fantasy is selling like 25 million copies every game, but no, it's not, bro. Dude, Final Fantasy 7 lifetime sales 13 million. Like,
and that's they put a lot of production into that shit.
Yeah, man. And then like games like Nier Automata, dude, like that game actually is a huge hit for them because it sold almost 5 million, I think, copies. That's massive.
Yeah,
for a franchise
right.
like that.
It just hit 5 million. Yeah.
Because I remember when it came out, they were celebrating, hundreds of thousands milestones, like 750,000. Like they were excited that it was selling that much, and we're up to 5 million now. Like that's big, man. That's big. That franchise has a big future for Square. That's kind of what I'm saying is like that seemed like a niche franchise for them, where it would sell around 1 million, maybe if it was lucky 2 million, but now it's breaking into that higher level for them. And that's kind of, I think that's the weird part about them is like they have these just random, like Nier is kind of a random game that, really random game to be that popular, to be that successful, because it's a super weird game. Like it's like a very philosophical and exotic and just has like weird music and weird character designs, and it plays weird too. It's not a game you can describe very well. It's like it's an action game, but it also has three or four other genres in it because it changes control scheme all the time.
Well, Nier is one of those games where which I think every game kind of strives for. It sells off word of mouth. Like there's no way a lot of people I know would have bought Nier if I had told them what the fuck it was. Yeah. Like if I just described it to them, like, oh yeah, there's this android where it's this like goth corset thing, and she has a fucking sword and she goes around fighting robots. Like
that's a terrible explanation of what the game is.
Yeah, and it's like you wouldn't even buy it, right? Yeah, but like it's so much deep. Like even when I play the game now, like it's just like face value. Like someone was watching me play it, and she was like, "I don't get it. This game is really fun." I'm like, "Actually, it's super fucking deep." And she's like, "You're just killing robots," and I'm like, "It's super fucking deep, though."
But you got to play it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the word of mouth, though. That's the word of mouth because you get into that conversation and like, yeah, that's what it looks like, but you got to play it. And then they go, then they do, and then they're doing the same thing to their friends.
It's a video game first, right? Like, so you play it, right, and then like you said, there's like 4 different genres in that game, but they're like genres that everyone's very familiar with.
Yep.
So you play
shooters.
You're just like, oh shit, this is like really fucking cool. This is a break from the action, and then you go into the action again. It's just really fucking cool. But I guess getting back on track. I'm sorry. I know we got sidetracked there, but
really distracted this episode.
Yeah. But I think Square Enix just needs that one. They're still trying to find that one Western studio that can make them that they can make the cash cow.
I think Crystal and Eidos are the two, and I think they just need to give them the right games
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Crystal shouldn't be making an Avengers game, a live service Avengers game. If they had let them just make a single player Avengers game, I think it would have been fantastic.
But see, that's the problem
And
right there, Justin. They're looking for a cash
I
cow.
know.
So a live service game makes sense. My thing
But
is
dude,
they could have done it in a different way. That game could still be live service, but I shouldn't be wanting to buy a Verizon package for my fucking Iron Man though. Like, like a Verizon skin. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And I get it
No,
though.
that's what I'm talking about though. They did that kind of thing to Deus Ex too, man. Like it wasn't exactly like they didn't have like Verizon, Adam Jensen costumes, but they had like microtransaction campaigns before the game, and it was so weird. It just like ruined the whole thing. So that's kind of what I'm talking about though, is just like let them, like the thing is single player, this is where Square kind of loses me with the Western games. It's like I think they lost faith in single player for a period of time, and I think they're coming back around to like allowing it, but it's weird because like Crystal was making single player games for the last generation, and they did pretty well. The new Tomb Raider games, and then they decided to take that studio and make a live service game. It doesn't really make any sense. An Avengers game at that, and like I point to Sony to show them like you guys could have made a really successful single player superhero game that sold a lot of, like Sony sold like 10 million plus copies of Spider-Man, dude. It's one of the best selling fucking PlayStation IPs of all time, and it's an exclusive to PlayStation 4. Imagine a multi-platform superhero game that was really well made, an Avengers game.
Mm-hmm.
I think they could have done way better than that. Like that could have been a huge game, So I don't know. I hope they get it straight. They figure it out. I kind of, no offense to anybody, but I'm not a big fan of this Avengers game. I think it's a waste of Crystal's time. But it looks like they're going to keep trucking on with it. So, it is what it is. But I'm really hoping Eidos is working on Deus Ex.
I think it's like full steam ahead with this game. It looks like they're really trying to improve it. And I get it. It's like a beat 'em up game, like to the extreme. Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping they can turn the game around because I actually really want to play this game. Like, It looks really fucking cool to me. But yeah, I know you're on the other side because you want Deus Ex to come back. I just don't think. I think the franchise right now is on ice until they make enough money to where they can do another Deus Ex.
I think they're working on it. I do. I actually think they're working on it because they did this. They did this with Between Mankind Divided and Human Revolution. It was the same thing. Human Revolution came out on PS3 and didn't do well, so they put the series on ice. And Eidos made something else in the interim, and then they spent 5 years making Mankind Divided. So I kind of feel like we're in that same boat with Eidos because. Mankind Divided came out in 2015, I think. It was a long ass time ago, or 2014 maybe. No, it was 2015. It was the same. It literally came out a week before the Phantom Pain. This is what I'm fucking talking about.
Oh,
dude. Like,
yeah.
Who the fuck at Square decided that? Like, come on, man.
They wanted to go head to head.
That's a bad idea. Like
they wanted to go head to head, man. They thought
you're gonna lose.
They probably thought the franchise was strong enough for that. They were wrong. Like they try to go against these big
silly
people, but they can't.
Yeah.
So
you know what? I'm just gonna tell everyone listening right now: if you haven't played Mankind Divided on PlayStation 4, fucking play it, dude. Game's so good. Game's so fucking good, man. Like it's crazy. It's one of the most surprising games for me because I had no history with Deus Ex and I just decided to play it one day on a whim and I was fucking engrossed, blown away. I spent 3 weeks straight playing it. Like crazy.
He's definitely right. I wasn't one of the Deus Ex fanboys who's like, oh man, the one on PC was just oh my god, it's godlike, bro. I didn't experience that. I just played I want to say Human Revolution. Shit, which one did I play? Yeah,
that was on PlayStation 3.
That was on PlayStation 3. I played that one, and I was like, "Yo, this game's fucking awesome."
Yeah, I need to play it. Actually, I've never played Human Revolution, so I want to play that one too. But yeah, no, they're good games. So, all right, we've diverted long enough talking about Square. Let's move on to our next story. We've only got a few here. So we want to follow up on our discussion we had last week about Bethesda.
Mm-hmm.
Because Microsoft and Phil Spencer kind of sat down and did this blowout live stream event where it was official after it was official that they were buying Bethesda, where they kind of discussed some things. So this has brought up a lot of debate online about what's going on with Bethesda's games. Are they going to be exclusive? Are they not going to be exclusive?
I
Blah
just
blah
never
blah.
knew Bethesda was like so popular with PlayStation people.
Oh my fucking god, dude! You know what though? The reality is it's fucking not, and we'll get into that here in a second.
Okay.
But let me read the quote from Phil Spencer. This is the big quote, right? That everyone's kind of dissecting. So, quote: "So obviously, I can't sit here and say every Bethesda game is exclusive because we know that's not true. There's contractual obligations that we're going to see through, as we always do in every one of these instances. We have games that exist on other platforms, and we're going to go support those games on the platforms they're on. There's communities of players, and we love those communities, and we'll continue to invest in them. And even in the future, there might be things that have contractual things or legacy on different platforms that we'll go do. But if you're an Xbox customer, the thing I want you to know is that this is about delivering great exclusive games for you that ship on platforms where Game Pass exists. That's our goal, and that's why we're doing this. That's the root of this partnership that we're building," end quote. So a lot of people took this statement and the particular sentence where he says is about delivering great exclusive games for you that ship on platforms where Game Pass exists.
Yeah.
This was the quote. This was the part of the quote where everyone was like, "Oh, it's a done deal. Everything's exclusive to Xbox except for the shit that they're contractually obligated for." And I still don't think that is definitively what he said here.
No. So what I think is
Yeah,
going to happen is I think the existing IPs, or not existing IPs, but like Fallout, if they do make another Fallout,
yeah.
fucking Skyrim, or no Skyrim, might as well call it goddamn franchise Skyrim. Jesus Christ.
It's the only game that matters in the franchise.
Elder
Sorry, Elder
Scrolls.
Scrolls fans. No offense.
Elder Scrolls series. Those series 100% going to be, and Doom. 100% going to be fucking multi-plat.
And I'm gonna support you here with something I just read. He says, even in the future, there might be things that have contractual things or legacy on different platforms that we'll go do.
Okay.
Vague, but that word legacy, though, I think is a key indicator of his intent.
There's no way
but
I would, if I bought this company. First of all, I don't even think so. I'm the CEO of fucking Xbox, the president of Xbox. There's no way my CEO is going to be like, bro, we get more money if you release Fallout on PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 and Switch and PC. No, bro. We need to make that money back, so it's definitely not going to be exclusive to Xbox. That's just dumb. Like, we get all that money, and that comes directly to us. Yeah, release everything on everything. Now, with new IPs, maybe Starfield might be exclusive.
That's what I was going to bring that one up. I actually also think Elder Scrolls might be as well, because the legacy of Elder Scrolls on PlayStation is
fucking
pretty much zero.
Yeah.
Besides Skyrim, there's really no legacy there. So I could see that franchise actually being exclusive as well. Fallout is the one that I actually think is going to be multi-plat whenever they go back to that.
Yeah.
That's the one that actually does have legacy on PlayStation, in terms of there's at least 3 games on PlayStation platforms, whereas Elder Scrolls, it's literally just Skyrim multiple times, and that's it. And the relationship with that series and Xbox goes way back to the original Xbox with like Morrowind, Oblivion, which we brought up last week. So that one I could also see Elder Scrolls being exclusive, but Fallout,
that's actually
maybe
a good
not.
point, because they didn't bring Oblivion over until later into the Game of the Year edition came for PlayStation 3. It actually came out on Xbox first, Xbox 360 first.
I think it was there for a long time too.
I want to say, I think it was only like a year or two. I don't think it was that long. It just probably seemed like a long time because everyone was bitching at the time. But yeah, you're right. But I think it was only a year or two. But I do remember it coming over to PlayStation 3. But yeah, you're right. Only thing is I see is fucking Skyrim on PlayStation. I know Fallout, like you said, they were like, it was this game called Fallout Brotherhood, Fallout something else, like a twin stick shooter that was on PlayStation 2. So Fallout does have a history, but it was with a different company controlling the IP, but it still was Fallout. And you're right. Fallout does have a history of being on PlayStation platforms. So I think that's going to continue to be multi-plat. But yeah, Elder Scrolls, I can definitely see them making like Elder Scrolls 6 exclusive. And that would be a huge boost to Xbox. A lot of people.
It would. It
Yeah.
definitely would. And I will say, but the thing, okay. But dude, this is what gets me about this whole thing, right? Because Elder Scrolls 6 is an announced game, right? And so is Starfield, to be honest with you, is that Phil Spencer, and maybe this has something to do with laws or contractual obligations. They can't say certain things and he has to be vague. I don't know. Maybe that's true. But why won't he just come out and say, like, yeah, Elder Scrolls is exclusive to Xbox? Why not? That would be a humongous dick blow to Sony right now. Like, why wouldn't you stick that knife in? I don't like why wouldn't you? You already have a lot of the narratives on your side, you know?
Justin, like, I think bigger than video games, bro. Maybe something with investors, like they are a publicly traded company. It could go announcing something like that could have a big fluctuation because the market right now.
You think one game though is gonna impact their stock price?
Yes,
like, this is Microsoft, bro. You know how many things they got their fucking paws in?
I know, but even like a 2% drop is like still a lot of fucking money.
2%, that would be insane for them.
Okay, like a 0.5% drop or something like that.
Yeah, okay. Even that, man. I don't know. I mean, you're not wrong. They do have to be careful what they say.
And I think and I understand what you're saying. Like,
it had the opposite effect, though, in my opinion. I think their stock price would go up if they said Elder Scrolls was an exclusive. Like, you know. I mean, I'd be excited about that if I was an investor in Microsoft. Like, fuck, dude.
I mean, like I said, it could go either way. There isn't an argument against. I mean, there isn't a wrong answer in this choice in this instance because I feel like
Elder Scrolls, that's a true system seller. That'll sell consoles, man. No joke.
Facts.
That will sell consoles. So. I that one makes sense to make exclusive. Actually, it really does. But I still don't think this is definitively everything. You know,
Elder Scrolls 6 come out to be exclusive. I am not logging onto the internet at all.
Oh yeah, PlayStation fans gonna be upset. They're gonna be mad, dude.
Man,
but
yeah, that's crazy. But you're right. I think he should just announce something, tell us something.
Just stop being vague, bro. Like if you're gonna keep doing this, then stop talking about it. I don't want to hear from you if you have nothing to say.
You're right.
You know,
you absolutely right. The thing is, Xbox already has this reputation of being the big bad boogeyman. They're taking all their fucking games. So I think
they don't want to be the bad guy.
Yeah, I think he wants to like be really cautious with it and everything like that. And people still holding this candle in the wind that they're gonna buy Sega. I don't see it. They do have a good relationship with Sega. I just don't see it.
And I want to bring this up again. Acquiring Sega, while that would be big, I think it would be a huge mistake for them because there's no IPs that Sega has besides what Atlas has that's like even worth the time, in my opinion. No offense to Sonic, but I just don't think it's worth the investment. You know,
well, even if they did buy it, I think they'll still have a lot of multi-plat stuff and.
No, that's my point, though. Like, why even bother then? Like, you know, it's not like Sonic's like a huge seller, dude. This is like, you know, and then even Persona, as big as it is, it's not that big, you know, and they don't make these games that often.
Whoa,
it's not
bro.
like they're coming out with
Watch
games.
Out. No Persona fans gonna get you.
Okay, go. I understood. Go look at the numbers, though. Okay, it's not even bigger than Final Fantasy. Like, you know, it's not even in that realm. So we just talked about that. So yeah, the thing for me is that the more acquisitions Microsoft continues to make, the less I believe that they're going to get quality out of these acquisitions, you know, because managing the number of studios they have, which by the way, they now have over double what Sony has in terms of first party studios. Managing that's not going to be easy because if they want to manage it properly, you need to make sure these games come out spaced from each other where and if you do it right, you could have a big AAA exclusive every quarter, you know, and that would be great, but that is unrealistic and really hard to pull off. The more games you have, the harder that's going to be. So
like we talked about last episode, they just really have to they got to stop greenlighting everything. I know they're trying to be nice and be like, we're not the big bad guys. Look at us. We're greenlighting bullshit. And it's like, we're for the developers. And it's like, yeah. At the same time, though, you got to tell your developers, wait, you're making what? We're making this game called Everwild. and it's gonna be super fucking vague.
I forgot what it was called. I did.
They're making this game called
I did.
Everwild, and it's gonna be super fucking vague, man. And
Yeah.
they're like, fucking go for it. Like, no, someone needs to be like, bro, what the fuck is this game?
Slow down. Yeah.
So,
well, yeah. Even if they greenlight the right games, though, you still gotta manage them, like production wise. You gotta produce them properly,
yeah,
to make sure they don't step on each other's toes and come out in the same windows. Like,
what I think
you can't have two shooters coming out within 3 months of each other. That's bad. That's not good.
No, you're definitely right. What I think
and Sony does an absolutely fucking A+ job at managing their shit most of the time.
Well, there was that weird flux. I say they handled Ghost of Tsushima very poorly.
But it didn't matter. It ended up working out.
It did, but
dude, it bounced off the negativity around The Last of Us 2. Ended up burying that game and making it like
that was
huge.
Pure luck, though. Pure luck.
True, but I mean, the proof's in the pudding, Montrell. It worked out, bro. Like, and even if that was a mistake, like, okay, it's one out of how many in a generation,
You're right. It was just, Sony was lucky that people hated Abby so much. People hated.
Man, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Man. Yeah. I mean, they were so lucky. But you're right. They had to manage that. My thing is this, right? If I was Phil Spencer, okay, I mean, I don't mean to sound like a dick, but I own you now. So Obsidian and fucking Bethesda, shake fucking hands and make me a good fucking game, please. Make me a good Fallout game.
Hash it out.
Work it out.
You're making me a Fallout game, yeah.
Yeah, I need you to make me a good Fallout game, because
I don't think it's
like now you have this conundrum, right? You have Obsidian, who's making their own RPG, first-person RPG, and then you have Elder Scrolls 6.
That was supposed to be competing with Elder Scrolls. That's what I'm talking about with some of these acquisitions, though, dude. Like, imagine if those two games come out around the same time, like even in the same calendar year. That's not good. Like, that's bad. You're competing with yourself. Like that's because that's what EA did famously with Battlefield, and then they had a shooter, Titanfall 2, I think it was, that they came out the same month. They published both games, and they completely fucked Titanfall 2. Like, the game did like horrible, absolutely horrible, and that was literally because they put them in the same month. Like, same month, within 2 weeks of each other. Absolutely crazy. And then you had Call of Duty coming out that month too. It was bonkers, So that's kind of what I'm saying here with Xbox, is they have to avoid something like that. And that's not easy, Like, these games, like, I think it won't be hard with Elder Scrolls and this game that Obsidian's making, because I would expect Obsidian's game is coming out much sooner than Elder Scrolls 6, but you never know, man, how this stuff goes. Like, if it needs to be delayed like that, you're pushing it. If you're pushing it closer and closer and closer to Elder Scrolls, I mean, that's not good.
You don't want Elder Scrolls is being made, to be honest with you. Like, let's be honest.
It's not being made. Let's be clear about that. It's definitely not being made. Okay, their announcement of that game was absolutely ridiculously
Todd Howard's full of shit. That game is
he's such a fucking dude. Fuck, man. Like, no, when they got on stage and were like talking about Fallout 76 for literally an hour, a fucking hour, and they didn't talk about Starfield at all, and then they just go, oh yeah, by the way, after Starfield, we're gonna make the Elder Scrolls 6. You be excited. Like, no, dude, no. Okay, no, you can't do that. Like, the game's not gonna come out for 8 years. Like, what am I excited about? It exists? Of course it exists. You'd be dumb not to make it. Like, but so it's just it is what it is with them. That's the thing.
Are they keeping Todd Howard?
Of course they are. Absolutely. He was in this video. I think. He was talking to Phil Spencer, bro. They're like bros now, right? Like, they're best buddies.
He's gonna fucking corrupt Phil Spencer, bro.
Oh, no, Phil. No.
That's why I'm getting super vague shit. Like, he's probably going to Todd. He's probably pissed by this.
15
right?
times the quality.
He's probably pissed, though. He's probably like us. He's like, fucking Todd, are you making this game exclusive? Well, Phil, like, exclusive.
He's like, no, bitch, I'm flying out right now and I'm coming to see. You better show me what you got. Okay?
He's like, Phil, like, exclusive, Yes, but when we say exclusive, we mean exclusive to the team.
Yeah, what does that actually mean? Exclusive's got a lot of definitions. 15 times the exclusivity.
Are you talking exclusive to the player experience? Because yes, it is going to be exclusive to the player.
Yeah, our player experience is exclusive to our game. You're damn right. Hey man, put me up there. Let's go. We got Corpo speak for days.
Oh my god.
Man,
Todd Howard is so hilarious. I love every time you go to the fucking stage. Because, bro, he pisses
it's a show. The memes are coming out of it. Yeah.
He pisses the chat off, like the Twitch chat, and everybody just gets pissed, and it makes me so fucking funny.
Oh, man.
It's just so fucking fun to watch. But anyway, I think, I don't know, man. I don't know what he's going to do. I think they just need to get their shit together. They have all these studios, all this talent, and they're just, we don't know what the fuck is going on. It's like, I don't know. And then they acquired them too, right? So it's like they acquired these studios, and it's like, are they now just adjusting everything for being exclusive to Xbox? Because maybe they were multi-plat now. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe got to work out the legal logistics for that, or are they working on anything at all, or are they just now working on stuff? Like it's just a lot of stuff to filter through that we have no idea was like for them to have almost 29 studios. I think we have like no one's leaking information.
True. They got a tight ship, I guess. Maybe they're running, but
so
I don't know.
We'll
see. Maybe there's just nothing interesting. It's not even interesting enough to leak. It's just like, oh, it's Everwild Redux. Something like that. But all right, let's move on. We're going to talk about Xbox a little bit more later. So let's keep going here to NPD for February 2021. So this was another big month for gaming. It is this trend of extreme growth in the industry is continuing. So total video game hardware sales, February 2020 was $3.397 billion versus $4.599 billion this year. That is a 35% increase, which is absolutely huge. Video game hardware up from 184 million last year to 406 million this year. That is a 121% increase in sales. Video game content last year, 3.075 billion versus 3.998 billion this year. That is a 30% increase. Video game accessories, 138 million last year to 195 million this year, 41% increase. I'm surprised by that because you cannot find the DualSense charging station anywhere or the Pulse 3D headset. But fuck me, they're selling a lot of them anyways. So maybe it's just Joy-Cons because everybody needs to replace their Joy-Cons because of drift. But let's see, year-to-date sales. This is actually interesting. This is they hadn't been doing this. This is a new one. I just want to say the total sales for the industry year-to-date last year through February, 6.718 billion. This year, 9.312 billion. 39% increase. That's fucking nuts. So we're having a lot of growth. One key point before I go through the games list, best-selling games of the month. PlayStation 5, this was revealed in the NPD numbers as well, that PlayStation 5 is the fastest selling PlayStation console in U.S. history. So that's pretty big. It's selling more than the PlayStation 4 up to this point in the U.S. So, okay. Top 20 games for the month. Number 1, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. That is a remake of the Wii U game with Bowser's Fury added onto it. Mario dominating. That's actually pretty surprising, to be honest with you, that it's number 1. I got to hand it to Nintendo on that one. Number 2, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Number 3, Persona 5 Strikers. What the fuck? Dude, that's crazy, man. Number 4, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. Number 5, Madden NFL 21. Number 6, Little Nightmares 2. Montreal, have you looked at this game at all?
Bro, I played this game. I played the entire game. This game.
You did? Okay, because this is all over the timeline. This was all over the timeline.
This game is fucking wild. No,
okay.
It's
is it good?
It's a fucking buy it. It's a good. I mean, well, I don't want you to buy it. It's creepy, but it's like puzzle creepy, right? So you got puzzles you have to do, and it's not like a jump scare type game. It does have some jump scares. I think you can play it though. It's not like bad like fucking Alien Isolation or anything like that.
Why is this game so popular though?
Because the puzzles, I don't know what to tell you. Like, the puzzles are really good, and it has like a story underneath it that they don't say is a story. So it's connected to the first game, but you don't know. So the character, actually, I can tell you that part. The character that's in the first game, you're the main character. I think it's called, his name's like Boxhead or something like that. And then there's another character, her name's Six. Six is the main character in the first game. So this game's a prequel, even though it's the second game, it's a prequel to the first game. And yeah, shit happens, and then you find out everything. Like well, not everything. There's some weird shit happening, but like you find out like the story wise what's going on and why the first game is the way it is. And it makes you look at the first game totally different. So yeah, but I only played the second game, and I'm like playing through the first game now. It's actually just a really fun game just to pick up and play real quick and then put down.
Montrell, you never mentioned this game before right now on this podcast.
I played it when I went out of town. So it was like I played it out of town or whatever. I played it on my Switch, and yeah, it's actually a really fun game, bro. Like I didn't even expect the game to be that fun. So when I played it, it was a really fun experience.
Number 6 on this list, dude. That's really impressive. Same with Persona 5 Strikers, because this list is based on dollar sales, not number of units sold. So how much money the game made. And this is not a $70 game, right?
No, no, it's not. Much is I think it's like maybe it's $60. I don't know. Maybe not even that.
Is it? Okay.
Maybe not even that. Hold on, let me check the price. My bad. Well, it's going. Only $20. It's only $30.
There you go. So they're selling a lot of copies of this game.
Yeah.
Damn, man. I'm not surprised. I mean, I saw it all over Twitter. I was really like, what the fuck is this, man? Like, how did this get this popular? But here we are, number 6. So number 7 is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Number 8, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Somebody stop this game. It's like ascending. Every month it seems to get higher in the rankings, even though last month it was actually 6th in January, which, Jesus. Number 9, Animal Crossing New Horizons. Number 10, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. 2 Call of Duties in the top 10. Number 11, FIFA 21. Number 12, NBA 2K21. Number 13, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Number 14, Mortal Kombat 11. Number 15, Super Mario 3D All-Stars. That game's going away in 2 weeks. Don't buy it. I'm telling you, don't buy it, because that's exactly what they want you to do. Don't buy it. Don't fall for the marketing. Please don't. My brother sent me a text the other day, literally like, oh yeah, I forgot this is going away in 2 weeks. I made sure I bought it because I don't want to miss it. And I was like, God damn it. That's exactly what they want. That is what they want out of you people. Stop it. You can play these games in other ways. Don't give them $60 for this. Please, for the love of God. Number 16, Ring Fit Adventure. Number 17, Just Dance 2021. Number 18, Minecraft PlayStation 4 Edition. Number 19, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Number 20, Immortals Phoenix Rising. I mean, this list really is just mostly the same. There's a few new games on here. I just feel like I say the same names every month. I really need the video game industry to just, change a little bit.
Hey, man, listen, buy Ring Fit Adventure. That shit's fucking fun.
Okay. Well, it fell down 9 ranks between months. So,
I understand, but it is a fun fucking game to get you fit.
Yeah. I mean, Montreal, have you thought about buying Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on Switch?
Fuck no. I'm done with Mario Kart.
Has the thought ever crossed your mind? No?
I am done. Okay. I played Mario Kart 8 to its totality when it was on a fucking Wii U 7 years ago. I was like 25 when that game came out. That's fucking wild. Oh my God. I'm fucking old as shit. But what the fuck? Bro, that game's old as shit.
This is a super old game. Dude, this is crazy. This is like... it's kind of on the level of like Grand Theft Auto continuing to chart. Like
I was in Detroit,
old
when that game came out. I've been from Detroit for about 5 years, almost 5 years now. So yeah, that was about 7 years ago. That's insane. That's fucking
bonkers,
crazy.
Dude. And then you got Smash Bros on here, of course.
2014, baby.
Yeah, Animal Crossing, New Horizons. That game's just absolutely bonkers, the success they've had with these. I mean, I know we talk about this a lot with Nintendo on these lists, but I mean, they keep showing up. It's like Nintendo and Sony and Xbox. I mean, Sony's often got an exclusive or two on this list a lot of the time. Xbox never charts. Their games never chart. I don't remember the last time I mentioned an Xbox exclusive on this list. Have we ever done it in the history of this podcast at this point? I don't think so. So,
Yeah,
man,
you're right.
it's crazy.
Actually, we haven't had an Xbox game. They need to
I'm
step
trying
their
to
game
think,
up,
man. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying about they
I
actually need
think
to release
one
some shit
time
because
Tomb Raider was on the list. Once. Rise of Tomb Raider,
Okay.
I think.
That wasn't an exclusive though.
Oh shit, you're right. Yeah, that's true.
The second one was no, Rise of the Tomb Raider, but we weren't doing this podcast when that game came out.
Oh
So,
yeah, that's right. Okay. Never mind that.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I think, came out in our first year of doing this. But that wasn't an exclusive to Xbox.
Okay.
So yeah. Oh yeah, that was another one that was killed by its release date window. It came out the same day as Fallout 4.
That's what it was. Oh my god, yeah.
Unbelievable.
I was trying to think of what you when you said that another game.
Yep. That was one of the worst ones I've ever seen in my life. Like, what were they thinking? It was an exclusive to Xbox, and you put it up against Fallout 4, which is one of the most hyped pre-launch games of all time. Like, literally. And in the moment that was obvious, people were absolutely falling over themselves with excitement for Fallout 4, So yeah, that one was crazy. That one, I can't believe that. So yeah, that's NPD for the month of February. Let us move on. We got a couple more stories here. This one is really a brief one, just to kind of update you guys. The Dying Light 2 developers at Techland released a video on YouTube today or yesterday. Sorry. It wasn't a trailer. It was like there was a very brief amount of gameplay in it. But it was actually a kind of like an interview style where they were interviewing the developers.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, they're saying that the game is alive. They're working on it, and it's coming out in 2021. That is the plan. So I'm actually encouraged to hear this. I'm glad that something came out because I was at the point where I was really thinking this game might be dead.
I think,
but it's good to know that they're working on it still.
Yeah, I was actually looking for something unrelated or something actually related to a Dying Light just before the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw a comic that was really interesting, and I think this is what they're trying to do as well. I think they're trying to avoid a cyberpunk situation.
Yeah.
So
they don't want to get too hyped.
Yeah, they don't want it to get too hyped, and they don't want to release it too early. I think a lot of game companies now are just really trying to avoid that cyberpunk situation.
I mean, they should. You don't want to hype your game that much if you can't deliver,
Yeah.
Now, I will say, we don't know if Dying Light 2 is going to be bad or not.
Yeah, exactly.
We have no idea.
Yeah.
But this game does have pedigree, and it's probably got some decent expectations on it because the first game was a surprise hit. So, a very popular game, in fact, on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So I'm just happy to hear that they're alive and the game's going, and it seems like they're working on it, and they're actually maybe getting through whatever issues they were through. Because if the game's coming this year, I mean, that means they're trucking along right now. So it's just been in development hell for a while because it was originally announced in 2018, actually at a Square presentation, I think at E3 that year. And then we didn't hear about the game again really until December, I think, of 2020 or 2019, because that's when they said the game was supposed to come out in 2020, and then it wasn't. It was indefinitely delayed at that point, so that was a bad moment. And then there was all these rumors about them having issues, the studio having problems. They fired their writer, their main writer, or something like that, and just not great. So I'm glad to see that this game's alive. I'm looking forward to it. This is actually I'm really excited because this is going to be a really good co-op game, probably, if it is good. So, what about you, Montrell? Are you excited about this one? Is this one you're interested in?
Yeah, because me and my brother, we actually played Dying Light 1. And
nice. Okay, same with me.
Yeah, I was totally surprised by this game because I had bought it. Mm-hmm. It was actually on sale when I bought it for like $30. And he bought it. He just so happened to buy it too. He was like, "Hey, did you buy Dying Light?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And we played it, and I was just surprised at how deep the game was, but how fun it was as well. Like a first-person parkour zombie game. Like, it's just, it works. Like, it sounds complicated, but it just fucking works.
It worked, man. Yeah. It was great. It kind of really put the first person parkour thing on the map because it was one of the first games that really did it. Like I know Mirror's
I was
Edge
gonna say
was
like
like
Mirror's Edge is there, bro.
that was the one that like kind of made people into the idea, but this was the first game that like actually was a game
Mm,
that had those mechanics in it.
yeah.
And no offense to Mirror's Edge, but that wasn't like a combat game, really. You know, this game was like deep. It was an open world game that had first person parkour and combat and all these systems and kind of even some RPG elements in it as well. So yeah, this was a really good surprise. So I'm looking forward to that one. So okay, let's move on to our final story of the week. So amongst all the Bethesda stuff, there's been a large amount of announcements for Xbox Game Pass. So a huge amount of games, and I'm going to read some of them out here. We got Outriders is going to be a launch game. It's launching on Xbox Game Pass day and date when it comes out. Octopath Traveler, Yakuza 6, The Song of Life, Undertale, Empire of Sin, Nier Automata, Star Wars Squadrons, Torchlight 3, Genesis Noir, Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire Ultimate Edition, Supraland, Narita Boy, and then also some DLC for a bunch of games. Minecraft, Sea of Thieves is getting DLC as well. Outer Worlds, all coming on Game Pass. So, dude, pretty crazy, man. They just keep adding, and all the Bethesda games, actually, a bunch of Bethesda games are now on Game Pass too, as well. So the amount of value in here just continues to grow. I'm gonna keep beating that drum because it's true. This is something that I think if you're on Xbox, there is no reason not to have Game Pass. Like I feel like you're almost robbing yourself by not having Game Pass at this point. You know, if you're on an Xbox console. So I think that's kind of what they're going for. But I will say I want to point out too. Originally, this story was about Octopath Traveler coming to Xbox because that is actually a big deal. Because I don't believe it's coming to PlayStation, which is fucking weird.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I don't think so. This announcement was about Xbox specifically. Let me take a look real quick. Yeah, Octopath Traveler, PlayStation 5. Yeah, there's no announcement for it, so
Holy
it is
shit.
not slated to be coming to it right now. So this is actually the only place it isn't is PlayStation, which is totally backwards because this game would sell more copies probably on PlayStation than anywhere but Switch, you know? But I guess, I don't know. Square probably bought it, you know, they probably
did.
Microsoft probably put money into
I think
it.
They're trying to grab the audience, which is, you know, a good move. It's just they need more. They need to invest in more RPGs if they want to grab the Western RPG.
Mm-hmm.
The Western JRPG fans, they need to do more.
Yep.
I know a big IP seller for them back in the day was that Blue Dragon. A lot of people bought an Xbox because Blue Dragon was on there. Another one was Tales of Vesperia. I know I was one of those people, even though I got an Xbox 360 before, but just a simple fact that Tales of Vesperia was on there.
That was the reason I got one too.
Oh, for real? Okay, yeah.
That specific game, yep.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a huge Tales fan at that time.
Okay,
so.
Yeah. So it's like it can work for them. I think they need to like this is a good grab for me, and the reason why is because I think they need to focus on JRPGs, but like I said, grabbing that Western fan base of JRPG fans because that's like a good 5 or 6 million people over here. Like I just gave an average. I think it's actually way bigger than that over here, but just an average.
Yeah.
They can grab at least 2 or 3 million of those people to buy their console for that. I mean, that's a good. If they get some more JRPGs, that would be good. Get Sega to make some more because Sega makes good JRPGs, and I think they can get them to make some really good ones. So.
Well, so this is the part of Game Pass that I find so appealing, though. Of the list of games that I just gave here, like I'd say almost half of them are interesting games to me that I'd want to download and maybe play if I had the time. Like Octopath Traveler, I already played it somewhat, but I never beat it. So that's one. Undertale for sure. Nier Automata, Torchlight 3, Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire, Star Wars Squadrons. That's half of them. That is literally 6 of the 12 that are on this front page here, like the main image that you show. I would love to play all of those. I don't want to pay money for them though, like directly. Like I don't want to buy them for $40 or whatever they cost, you know. And Nier I wouldn't care about because I've already beaten it and played it. But if I hadn't, that would be one of them for sure. But like having Game Pass though, and just downloading these games and like just booting them up at some point, like that. I mean, that's appealing. It
Actually,
is.
you know what? What
You know.
game I actually didn't even. Oh, this game is on PlayStation 4 now. I thought it was exclusive to. Oh no, that's Yakuza song. The other Yakuza game that just came out. I can't remember the game. Yakuza.
Was it Song of the Dragon?
No song. Oh, maybe it is Song of the Dragon. This is Song of Life. I'm looking at. So maybe it's Song of the
Mm-hmm.
Dragon. Song
Oh, Like a Dragon.
Like a Dragon. That game.
That's what it's called.
Is an RPG, and I heard that game is fucking phenomenal. If you're just a Yakuza fan in general, but people even they're not like this is their first Yakuza game, and they're like, "Holy shit, this game is really fucking good." And that is actually it's on fucking. That's weird. It is on fucking PlayStation 5. I thought that was stuck on Xbox for some reason.
No, it is. It's on both.
Okay, I thought that was. I've been seeing people post Xbox clips of it, but that's weird because I didn't see that before. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. But where are you at on Xbox, man? Are you like you don't have one yet, right?
I don't have an Xbox Series X yet. No.
Do you want one?
I do. Only reason I want one is so I can have one. To be honest with you, I don't really want to play my games. And a lot of the games that I do have are upgraded on Xbox as well. So that's a plus because I don't have to wait for like that smart thing automatically upgrades a lot of these games or whatever. And the backwards compatibility. And I think I'm just ready to get rid of my Xbox One. No offense to it. It's just I think I'm ready to move on to it. Because I actually want to buy. I actually don't like playing first person shooters on PlayStation. I just don't like it. I don't like the controller at all. Well, I like the DualSense. Don't get me wrong. I'm just more comfortable playing first person shooters on the Xbox controller.
I can understand.
Yeah,
that.
so it's So I'm actually looking forward to like getting an Xbox because I want to play Apex on there and all the other stuff like that. But even then, I think I still might play it on PC because I just bought so many fucking skins on the PC and shit.
Yeah, they're not cross. They're not cross.
Yeah, they're not.
They're not cross progression, which sucks. It's pretty bad, man. They got to get on that because that feels real bad. You know, that's a big inhibitor to changing platforms on a game like that. So.
Yeah. But besides that, yeah, I really do miss it because there are a lot of other games. Like I usually play, like I know this is like fucking blasphemy, but I play Devil May Cry games on Xbox because the controller for me, the shit I like to do is just way easier and more comfortable on the Xbox controller than a PlayStation controller. Like I really want to play like the new Devil May Cry, but I think that's exclusive. The content is exclusive to PS5. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. So I don't know.
It might be. I wouldn't be surprised.
I might just actually bite the bullet and buy the special edition on PS5. But the thing is, I got so far. I did so much stuff on my Xbox version of Devil May Cry. It's just like I don't feel like going through all that shit again. You know.
Understood. Yeah, I'm the thing is I don't really have time for another platform because I have 3 right now, PC, Switch, and PlayStation 5, and I'm already kind of having trouble splitting my time between all 3 of them. So adding a 4th one is, kind of questionable because what it's going to turn into is basically I'm going to have to eliminate one of the other platforms for any given period of time, to play on Xbox. But I will say there is an appeal for me because the way Game Pass is, I think this is the reason I kind of want to get one is that I don't actually have to buy any games on Xbox. I can literally just have the console, get Game Pass and play whatever I want, through Game Pass. So that's what's appealing to me. And also there's so much in there that like I want to kind of go play some older Xbox games, I'm having some weird hankerings for like, I don't know, Fable and like some of those older Xbox original kind of exclusives that they had. I kind of want to go fuck around with some of those because I have this weird nostalgia for some of them. There's this like, I forget the name of the game. I actually don't remember the name of the game, and I don't even know if it's available through back compat right now, but it's this like action RPG that came out on the original I think it was the original Xbox, and it's not very good, but in my brain, I like that game, and I kind of want to play it.
Is it Infinite Undiscovery? Is it a Japanese game?
No, it's not a Japanese game actually. I don't remember.
Jade Empire?
Action RPG. I'm trying to remember the name of it, dude. It was a really cartoony looking game. Was it Sudeki? Is this right? Hold on, let me look for images. I think this might have been it. Actually, hold on. Maybe. I don't remember, man. Actually, I gotta ask my brother. He would know better than me. But if I can find it, I'll bring it up on the show next week. But yeah, it was just this weird action RPG that wasn't very good. It was like an old launch kind of exclusive. But me and him for some reason were really into it back in the day, and I kind of want to go back and explore some of those games. So I do want to do that at some point. But right now I don't want to spend the money on an Xbox Series X. I also don't want to fucking search for one because they're still hard to find. But I think they're at the point with Game Pass though that it's like it's just like if you don't play many games, I mean, bro, they're not even asking you for much. It's like, what is it, $10 a month on the console? It's like nothing, man. It's really not much. Like it's I don't know. It's just such a good value, and you have access to all the shit and you can download the games,
Yeah.
and have them on your device. You're not streaming anything. So it's like, I don't know.
It may have been this Sudeki game, but from what I'm looking at, the Google reviews and Steam reviews is like, yo, this game is the fucking shit. Like,
really?
Yeah. 9 out of 10 on
Okay.
Steam, 72% on Metacritic, and 7.8 in IGN. So it's not. I think your vision of it wasn't really that bad. It's
wasn't off.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm not sure I'm remembering the right. Dude, you know what? I'm looking at it now. This might actually be it. I'm actually looking at some more screenshots. This might be it. This game was really weird because you would play it. You started it in the human world, is what I remember, and then you go to this like you get transported to this like other realm that's like the demonic realm,
Mm-hmm.
and the difficulty spike in the demonic realm is absolutely fucking absurd. Like, completely insane. You like start getting like 4-shot when you could fight like 5 enemies at once before,
Yeah.
It was pretty bonkers. But I remember the game being pretty fun. I never got that far in it though, and I kind of want to go play it just to see if I can like kind of beat it, and see kind of how it plays. But yeah, I'm actually seeing these reviews you're talking about. This is seems like it's pretty popular actually.
Yeah, it looks like it has a cult classic
game,
on it. So
yeah, might be worth checking out. Sudeki is what it's called on the original Xbox. So yeah. Okay, Montrell. Anything else you want to talk about before we go today, man?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, let's wrap it up here, guys. So if you like this episode, please like the episode, review the show, and subscribe to the show on whatever feed you're listening to it on. And please share it with your friends. If you'd like to interact with us on Twitter, you can do so at iTrap for the Hokage for Montrell. That's the number 4, not the word. I'm at ThunderNut01. The show is at The Player's Take. If you'd like to send us questions, you can do so on Twitter or send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. And that is going to be it for us, guys. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll see you on the next one. All right, bye.